The Scheme is a VR game that has attracted a record 50 million players online at the same time, and 400,000 users in total within a month since the release. The dizzying success can be explained by one single reason: the creation of an ideal virtual reality. Even those who turned up their noses at the game and said that it was impossible to do are already busy with their own little world in the Scheme. Our hero is also a former skeptic, but now he sits in his tiny apartment, enjoying the sea breeze in the Scheme. His name is Kai Howard, and he is a player of the Scheme. His nickname here is Mose. Kai was enjoying the smell of the sea when suddenly someone called him. The guy said that if he wanted to stare into space, he should find another place. It only interferes with their work. The hero apologized. The player added that they were all cleaners here, so don't get in the way. Kai is a slime cleaner. As the Scheme became an unprecedented success, in-game money and items became more important than real currency. There are currently 3 ranks for artifacts in the game. Common ones are unremarkable and cost little. But magical artifacts of higher levels are a different matter, because they give additional stat points. With each new stat point you gain, you level up. Getting a +1 artifact is like getting +1 to your player level. Stat points greatly increase physical abilities. For example, a normal person will fight at the level of a professional boxer if he wears a ring with +3 strength. That's why magical artifacts with even a single stat point are valued at no less than 10 million won. What can we say about rare items? Only rumors, because since the release of the game, no one has been able to find a single item. And it is unknown whether there are ranks higher than rare. In other words, the magic rank is now the most prestigious, and slimes are the simplest monsters from which you can knock out artifacts. Because of this, a huge number of players hunt for rather harmless slimes in the hopes of hitting the jackpot. These people are called slime cleaners. But, of course, the chance of getting a magical artifact is extremely small. Kai has been hunting slimes for 2 months now, but I still haven't got anything magical. It's time to sum it up. The hero went to the seaside town of Linderk. There, the merchant offered Kai only 20 silver coins. The man said that the slime is now literally being brought in by the bucketful, with too many people trying to sell it. But even so, the price has been halved in just 1 day. That's all the merchant can offer. Kai had no choice but to sell it for these pennies. He hunted all day, but he only earned 20 silver coins. In real money, that's only 20,000 won. In addition, due to the huge number of hunters, the number of slimes is decreasing. For 2 months, Kai lived in hopes of knocking the magic item out of them. And what happened in the end? I earned only 5 gold coins from selling all sorts of little things. The only weapon he has is a novice's iron sword, which is running out and will soon break. And so that you understand better, there won't be enough gold to buy a new path. Kai shed a tear. He no longer had the strength for this idiotic game where everything was decided by luck. The hero spent 2 months trying his best to save up for college. Knowing that everything would end like this, Kai would have given up on trying to get the artifact and simply enjoyed the game. Or I would devote more time to my part-time job. Yeah, right? Kai decided it was time to finish. But first I opened the inventory. 2 months of hellish labor and 5 gold coins. That's about 500,000 won. But the hero is offended by simply exchanging them. It would be better to withdraw them into cash. He's leaving the game anyway. Kai thought maybe he should do something like that before he left. Suddenly he heard some noise. There was a crowd gathered there, excitedly waiting for the guy to open the secret stone. This is his 8th time. The guy begs for luck this time. However, he received a fish with a human face, which is not even fit for consumption. The crowd laughed. What a load of crap to pull out. Kai came closer. It's like a lottery. Suddenly, the merchant said that if that kid had played a couple more times, he would have definitely won something, but he gave up. So he asked the crowd if there were any more takers. For 5 gold pieces, you could win a real treasure here. 5 gold for 1 try? Total scam. Suddenly, the merchant noticed Kai. He saw that he was eager to try. The old man pointed his finger at the hero and suggested that he try his luck. The merchant said not to worry, he feels that Kai is special, and he sees that the source of luck is hidden in it. He had been waiting for such a person for a long time. A girl player from the crowd said that the old man had actually already said that. Whatever. Kai bought 1 ticket. He was glad that he was able to get out of the crowd that was mocking him. The hero went into the nearest building away from the strangers. Anyway, Kai spent the rest of his money on this thing. He is both sad and happy that the end is near. Looking back, the hero realized that he had nothing to remember. All he did was catch slimes. Solved, checks the contents, and exits the game. Kai started to open the ticket when suddenly a purple light filled the room. As the scheme became an unprecedented success, in-game money and items became more important than real currency. Magical artifacts are now the most prestigious. Therefore, items with even a single stat point are valued at no less than 10 million won. Kai had never seen such a purple light before. And then he found himself holding a rare-ranked pendant called Star of Florin. According to history, Ereline, the wife of Florin, the commander of the Azerus cavalcade, blessed him before parting. Ereline left a will for this pendant to be his glimmer of hope in the darkest of times. News was often broadcast on Schema TV. Courtney, the second streamer of the Republic of Korea, was on the line. The topic of the day is new items among artifacts. So, the first item. By the way, Courtney said that it was recently bought and it was the largest sum in the history of the auction. Anus's magic-ranked ring sold for 70 million won at auction. The ring is said to have dropped from the boss of the northern region. Its effect is particularly noteworthy, restoring health. Hilka is considered the rarest of all known magical abilities. This artifact has a fourth class of value, the highest at that time, and it was sold for a record 72 million. Anus's ring even surpassed the speed ring at 63 million won, and it became the most valuable artifact so far. It seemed crazy to non-players that some ring from the game costs as much as a new car. As for the second item, it has a top effect, Azerus Cavalcade Necklace, which gives +3 to strength. Bought for 39 million, it only confirmed the popularity of its effect. When Kai watched this news, he was shocked. He always thought that the world of such prices was very far from him, or was until this evening. Now he holds an incredible pendant of rare rank in his hands. Rare artifacts are considered trash in other games because there are better items out there. But in the recently published scheme, everything is the other way around. The most valuable things at auctions are still magical. It turns out that this could become the first rare artifact in the game. Kai beamed with happiness. Damn it, he'd hit the jackpot. The hero fell to his knees and thanked the star for coming to him. Wait, come to think of it, how much does this pendant cost? The value of the effects of the Florin star is much higher than that of the magical ones. +7 to strength, +4 to health, agility, and intelligence. On top of that, the most popular effect, health regeneration, is 17.7 units per second. The price will definitely exceed 100 million won, or even 10 or 20 billion. Then Kai won't have to worry about paying for college. He will be able to buy not only a nice apartment, but maybe even a car. So, Kai opened the system window and started going to the auction tab. But then he thought he wanted to test this suspension. They say that even 3 extra stat points of strength make you a player of a completely different level. Kai couldn't even really deal any damage to the slime. With Florin's star power, will Kai be able to play like the leaders, the high-level players? The hero thinks about everything he had to go through. In his place, someone else would definitely have sold her. But can't Kai indulge himself a little for the first time in 2 months? Maybe. Besides, there's always time to put the star up for auction. Kai himself is surprised by his shameful set of characteristics. He quickly put on the pendant and began to shake violently, and then fell on the bed without strength. How painful. So here it is, the pain of an 18-level upgrade. Why simulate the pain so realistically? It's just a VR game. Kai knows that when it comes time to remove the suspension, it won't get any easier. He took a coin from his inventory and was shocked when he was able to bend it with a simple movement of his fingers. So that's why everyone's so crazy about artifacts. How about checking out the artifact in action? From the center of the continent, you can easily reach any region. Finding allies to play with won't be difficult. There are plenty of players here. After all, it is in the center that their most popular city is located, and they call it Azerus. Wow, Kai was looking at the players' equipment. As expected, everyone here is rich. Suddenly, someone passing by asked the hero if he thought too much of himself by coming here. Honestly, besides the star, all he has is an old sword. Kai gives a tooth. It will be difficult to find a team with such equipment. He walked up to the notice board and thought maybe there were solo quests. Suddenly, someone called him. It was a girl with a bow. If she's not mistaken, the guy needs a team. The girl grabbed Kai and said that she had a spot in her squad and offered to join them. Teammates are indignant. Where did Sharan go? Where is she even? You can't miss the raid. Gale suggested waiting a little longer. Sharan knew what he was doing. Finally, she came. The girl said she would find someone. Sharan told the boys to say hello to Kai. Jim saw that our hero had a beginner's gear and his sword was about to break. He knows they're in a hurry, but he asks if Sharon thinks she's brought a complete noob. She says not to be afraid. Looks can be deceiving. Kai is the strongest player in the square. Sharon was also surprised. His equipment really left much to be desired. But the boy was clearly stronger than everyone around him. Sharon has a second-level keen eye. This increases her observation skills, which is extremely important for an archer. When focusing on a player, it allows you to determine the approximate level of his abilities. Suddenly, Silborn came up to the guys. It looks like everyone is ready. Now the quartet is assembled. Kai was dumbfounded. Could this really be the head of the Silver Guild and the famous mage Silborn? They say he has as many as 5 magical artifacts. The hero doesn't believe that they will actually fight side by side with him. Silborn stepped up to the stage and thanked all the boys for deciding to join the troll hunt, and all under the leadership of the Silver Guild. Kai is doubly shocked. He barely defeated slimes, and now he's hunting a troll. The troll is one of the low-level monsters, but it has an aggressive nature and high regeneration ability. This is a creature of terrifying strength, capable of crushing a boulder with one hand. An opponent like this can't be underestimated. Kai doesn't know if he can handle it. By the way, Guile said that the beasts are very vicious, so it's better for the hero not to catch their eye. They'll chase him until they kill him. Jim added that they also travel in groups. In short, trolls are a pain in the ass, but fire and magic terrify them, and the creatures run relatively slowly. If Kai has hunted before, then such prey will seem easy to him. And most importantly, as Jim said, they will make money on it. Sharan said that everything he can get from the troll is quite expensive. For example, his blood. It is used to prepare high-grade potions. Asked for troll skin and bones. These parts are used to make cool gear. So usually these creatures are hunted by large guilds. Jim is glad they are involved at all. By the way, the rumors turned out to be true. The Silver Guild is actually recruiting new members because everyone is so tense. Gale said that a couple of drops of troll blood would be enough for him, at least to pay for his studies. So he is a student too. Yes, the guy replied that he earns his tuition by playing, just like Kai. The hero said that he also came here because of his studies. It turns out that they are brothers in misfortune. They will farm together. Ah, those were the days. Sharon wants to go back to university. Jim asked if she was having problems at work again. Although, how could it be otherwise when you are an ordinary office plankton? Suddenly, one guy from the Silver Guild leadership told everyone to come closer. Now he will tell their plan. So Silborn opened the map and started talking about the troll hunt. He asked the boys to unfold the cards. The members of the Silver Guild had been risking their lives for the last few days to set up troll traps in several locations. Now let's move on to the action plan. First, the guys successively lure the troll into traps set in his path. And when he gets to the last one, all together they will attack him and the mission will be accomplished. Humans move much faster than trolls. Following the plan, the group will be able to catch one of them quickly and safely. Wow! Players say that the famous guild has everything planned out as expected. Kai wanted to enjoy his new abilities, but it looked like he wouldn't be fighting anyone one-on-one. Gale asked if that was fair. Well, Jim said they couldn't change anything. Guile told his comrade to look. There was not a single member of the Silver Guild in the troll luring team. They will most likely all attack in the vanguard. They are probably trying to cut down participation points. They give more for killing. Well, Sharon is grateful that they invited her at all. What if something magical happens? This means that if you are on a team, it is not a fact that you will fight together with everyone else. Silborn said rewards are distributed automatically based on participation points. So the 3 guys went to the 3rd trap area. One asked if they just needed to find the troll. Yes, as soon as they meet him, they must immediately lure him into a trap. And the silver ones are going to fight him. That's awesome. The guys are just waiting to be accepted into the guild. I bet then they'll only go hunting. The guy with the bandage on his head told his friend to just watch his step. But when he turned around, he saw that the huge troll had already finished off one player. And as it turned out, the troll was not alone. The 2 guys, having lost their 3rd comrade, started running. They jinxed it that it would be easy, but now you almost have to fly to save yourself. The guy with the blindfold panicked and asked where the fucking trap was. The other guy told him it was ahead, between the trees. The guys finally ran up. The one with the bandage took the sword, thinking that the trolls would be in trouble now. However, he fell into some kind of viscous black liquid. It turned out to be viscous oil. Thief class ability immobilizes anyone who gets into it and explodes on contact with fire. The trolls caught up with the guy with the bandage and showed him the bloody body of his comrade. The guy is screaming, asking for help. However, Silborn and the rest of the guild members only smiled sarcastically. Suddenly, he swung his staff and hit the trolls, creating a large explosion. Silborn told the boys that it would be a quick and safe hunt. Now he waits for the next ones. And Kai and his group met the boss of the location, the Black Mountain Troll. A moment earlier, they were walking around the location and Jim was saying that he could handle the troll alone. What is his attack power? The guy proudly declared that the monster could not harm him. Sharon laughed and said that when they meet, Jim fights the troll and they run away. Then they'll tell everyone that he died a hero's death. Jim was angry that they were already burying him. Suddenly, Kai noticed someone's figure on the rock. Sharon asked what was wrong. The hero pointed with his hand, saying that there was someone there. The girl was in shock. A huge monster was already standing above them and swinging his arm to strike. Jim immediately began to hold back the troll with his shield, but the monster pushed him away with great force. Kai had never seen trolls before and didn't even know they were like that. They had been told otherwise. Is it really him that the hero has to fight? Everything inside him went cold, and the troll has only one thing inside him, a thirst for blood. The monster was already above Kai and he resigned himself to death. But then Sharon began shooting at him with a bow, and then Jim pounced again, hitting the troll with his shield. This ability hits the target and pushes them back. The monster flew back, but held on by grabbing a tree. Sharon was very worried and asked her uncle if he was okay. Jim replied that yes, but at home it was 0, although the blow was at full force. The arrows are also useless. The boys think about what to do. Kai suggested luring the monster into a trap. They said it would be easy, considering the troll's slowness. Guile thinks this troll is unusual. Judging by its size and appearance, it looks more like a crusade boss. That's right. And he came to the guys alone, although usually trolls move in groups of 4. Kai asked if they could kill him. Guile replied that even if he debuffed the monster's regeneration, the strength and defense level were still high. Then Jim said there was only one thing left to do. They must hold off the troll until the Silver Guild arrives. Sharon began firing at the monster from behind. But the arrows just flew off the troll's hard body. How annoying. Jim yelled at her to go back and told Mose to distract the monster from behind. Kai suddenly caught a strange feeling. What was he even doing here? These guys have been playing together for a long time and work well as a team. These are the people who really enjoy the scheme. And our hero compared to them is simply an idiot, living in the hope of hitting the jackpot, and killing slimes day after day for 2 months. Kai really wanted to have a real adventure just like this. The boys screamed as the troll swung a huge club at him. The hero thought he was finished. But Jim immediately intervened and stopped the monster's blow. The guy yells at Mose to get his act together. Can someone like Kai change if he started a little later than the others? But there is no a little. He has had enough. The hero will do it right now. He pounced from above and struck the troll in the arm with his sword. However, it was at this inopportune moment that the sword came to an end and broke into 2 pieces. Eventually, the troll hit Kai and he flew away. The hero lay on the ground without strength. His health was less than 20%, and the durability of his leather gloves was 0. Sharon shouted to Gale that the monster was coming and they had to step aside. Luckily, the guy got away in time. This troll would take out any of them with 1 blow. Sharon told everyone to move away so that the troll wouldn't get so angry. Jim ran up and hit the monster in the leg with his shield. The troll howled in pain and seemed to become even more angry. At that very second, there was a strong impact that raised a cloud of dust. Kai woke up with a severe headache, but the main thing is that he is still alive. The star worked and stamina was fully restored. So this is what the regeneration effect that everyone dreams of looks like. Suddenly, Kai heard screams from the battlefield. The troll attacked Jim, and he tried his best to defend himself. The guy was already at the end of his strength when Sharon shot the monster in the eye. This enraged the troll. Jim had no more strength to resist. He thought, is this really how it will end? But then Kai jumped at the troll and hit him in the stomach. The hero rolled to the side and the monster fell on his back. Jim asked what that was. It looked like a backhand throw. Kai didn't even expect that he would be able to knock down such a giant. He asked if Guile was okay. He was, but suddenly, a light of healing appeared around the guys. This is what restoring the health of teammates means. Jim opened his eyes in surprise and stood up. The life bar is full. He healed so quickly. Sharon also asked in surprise what kind of restoration of teammates' health is this. Jim looked at Kai. This guy didn't look like a simple newbie. But suddenly a roar was heard from behind. The troll was already getting up. This time, Sharan will aim for the back of the head. Jim threw a two-handed steel sword to Kai, saying that he would finish this fight. Our hero, without further ado, grabbed the sword and struck the troll right in the head. Let's return to Silborn. It's so nice to see an inventory in which you can't find a single free slot. If this continues, they will probably be able to earn more than 100 million won in just 10 minutes. Of course. According to the rules, there must be at least 120 people hunting the troll. There are 40 players in the Silver Guild. 80 others they had to look for on the side, but Silborn figured out how to profit from this. And for the sake of credibility, I took several experienced players. The automatic reward distribution system is based on the contribution of the quest participants to its completion. Quest rewards will be distributed according to the difficulty of the task completed by the player. Therefore, Silborn, having killed all the trolls, will receive the highest percentage of participation. Of course, rumors will spread due to deception. If his reputation is damaged, he will simply go into hiding for a while until everything calms down. And then he'll be altruistic for a bit and get rid of the past as if it never happened. Isn't that brilliant? Suddenly, all players on the raid received a message about the completion of the quest. The main goal, the destruction of the troll named Black Mountain, is completed. Nobody understood what the hell was going on. Group 13 ended up with the highest percentage of participation. Silborn was shocked that it wasn't him. The swordsman gets the MVP title. The special title is one-handedly received. The player with the highest team healing contribution and the highest damage is Mose. Some time passed. Silborn, seeing many corpses, asked what was going on. He has no mana, no health, and can barely hold back the pain. The guy was trying to get to that fucking team number 13 that took credit for winning the quest. Silborn ordered his men to seize these freaks and bring them to him immediately. However, nothing came of it. He was cornered by enemies who had been looking for him for a long time. It's interesting to see a top player running away like a rat. Silborn asks what the Dark Guild is doing here and what they want from him. He doesn't know. The leader of the troll hunting squad. Silborn won't live anyway, so it's better to surrender. And after that, his blood was shed. After the raid, Kai came to the auction house. He threw down a ring and said he wanted to put the lot up. A few hours earlier, the guys had completed the raid. They got a fancy core. It's probably different from the usual ones because it was a boss. The core is an item that can be obtained after killing a monster. Something like a treasure chest. The type of core depends on the monster. The stronger the monster, the bigger it is, and the higher the chance of getting a good drop. These are the rules of the scheme. Kai never thought that he would one day see such a large core. Suddenly, Sharon came up to him and said that he had to open it. Kai was very surprised. But Gale and Sharon kept pushing to open the core, since it has the highest percentage of participation. So Kai walked up to the big floating ball. A bright light covered the entire area. The items were distributed according to the percentage of participation. The boys are happy. They got 3 bones of Blackrock, his skin, a round steel shield, a steel longsword, and Argon's mountain boots. Kai couldn't help but smile. All those days of slime hunting paled in comparison to this. So the hero put up a mountain ring of Argon power. Bargaining time is 24 hours. The starting price is 80 gold. Kai wonders if the starting price is normal if it's 8 million won in real money. It's difficult to navigate because the cost can vary greatly depending on the type and effects of the artifact. Lately, prices have been getting lower and lower. Who cares? Kai still pressed the "put it up for auction" button, as long as it flies in. Later, in his apartment, the hero wondered if 80 gold pieces were not too little. Maybe he should have raised the price. No, it's too late. What's the point of regretting now? At least they won't accuse me of greed given everything else. The ring adds 1 to the damage, so 80 is fine. Kai is a good guy. He sighed with relief. Just think how much happened today. The hero killed the troll himself in his first group quest. Got some pretty good loot for this. And I also made my first friends in the game. But if he hadn't won Florin's star in that lottery, how would everything have turned out? And then Kai suddenly took off his VR glasses. It was already late. It seemed he had gotten carried away. He noticed incoming messages on his phone. Mom asked if her son was eating well. She said just not to eat noodles, at least by rice. She put some money on his card so he doesn't have to worry. Mommy, Kai will get his salary from his part-time job tomorrow. It wasn't worth it. At that moment, he was charged 100,000 won for a subscription to PK Telecom and for a transport card. They robbed me blind without even letting me enjoy the moment. It's so sad. Damn. However, it was at that moment that Kai realized that his future would be tied to this scheme. After all, he finally received money from the auction, almost 39 million won. And all this in one day. Having received money for the ring at the official representative office of Scheme in Korea, Kai began to prepare for more serious matters. First, I took an academic leave from college for another semester. That's it. I sent the money to my mom, bought a sports trainer, and bought the powder in a specialized store for Scheme players. By the way, about that. The powder is a nutritional supplement for restoring and maintaining the balance of nutrients in the players' bodies. A useful thing if you play for a long time without a break. When you eat in the Scheme, you get this supplement through VR glasses. All the necessary microelements enter the blood through the skin of the face. A real find for gamers. After all, you don't need to be distracted from the game and waste time on cooking. Although, of course, it's better to go offline and eat normally. Kai went to the game's community site. He was surprised that the query with his nickname Mose was in first place, even ahead of Silborn. The headlines screamed that after defeating the Blackrock mountain boss, Mose enters the top players, and Silborn's body was found. Members of a dark guild are suspected of the murders. Silborn's respawn point is Charleon Castle, in a week. The Arthur's Trinity Guild is looking for a man named Mose. They are offering 500 gold for any information about him. Kai already imagined how the guild leaders would tear him apart, eager to get him for themselves and offering the coolest conditions. And he also imagined how PvP battles take place with him, where countless players are eager to challenge him. And of course, the endless attacks of murderers that prevent us from living in peace. Kai realized that this wouldn't work and rushed home. He ran into the apartment and immediately took off his sneakers as he ran. If nothing changes, his freedom and future in the game will go down the drain. Kai quickly put on his VR glasses. It was time for him to get out of Aspargen. The hero logged in and found himself on a slope directly above the city. This is a chance in a million and he can't miss it. He will go away from everyone. Finally, the blacksmith finished making a set of armor from the hide of a magical grade Blackrock troll. The effects include a plus to health, agility, strength, and a huge boost to defense. The blacksmith is pleased with himself. For the first time in 20 years he has gotten such a job. Yeah, the gear would be perfect for a wanderer like Kai. The hero thanked the blacksmith for the magnificent armor. Goboin replied that it was a pleasure to work with the material that Kai had brought, and now that very hour has come. Well, or so it seemed to the hero. He wandered through the forest and could not find the right place. Kai sat down and leaned against the tree. Apparently, he really was lost. What to do now? And then suddenly the hero noticed a patch of land from under which a blow was coming. Kai pressed. The earth shook and a huge cave opened up before him. Our hero is the first to discover this dungeon, the Blackroot dungeon. So this is a completely new location in the game. It was kind of dark inside. So Kai took from his inventory the shining Belsect stone, which glows when squeezed. The hero began to wander among the vast spaces, huge stone walls. The further you search, the darker it becomes. Kai walked further and reached something similar to a throne. There were symbols on the back. Kai came closer and began to read. Moritol, bones, and a skull. It is impossible to convey the depth of hatred for the one who imprisoned them. Dark forces ambushed the troops. The smell of rotten blood filled the air. Caught off guard, they said goodbye to their lives and found themselves bound by a dark curse and unable to find the peace of a dignified death. Behind Kai, a whole army of dark skeletons appeared on their land. The hero knew that a brawl was brewing, but that so many. Kai enthusiastically grabbed the sword and stood in a stance. The skeletons pounced, and he began to chop them down one by one. However, there is no end to these monsters. Kai is not a combat class, and he doesn't really know how to use a sword, but he can withstand such a crowd of skeletons. A crowd of skeletons knocked Kai down. More and more monsters rushed at him and pulled him to the ground. And then something in that crowd lit up. The use of force was like a supernova. It would have been impossible to do this without the support of staff at Kai's level. That's what the union of a rare artifact with magical armor and weapons means. Most of the skeletons have been destroyed. Now it's time to finish the battle. After a while, Kai breathed a sigh of relief. And then he started receiving a lot of notifications about level increases. Kai only chopped up skeletons and already leveled up twice. Cool, now he's already above 10th. However, someone suddenly growled in the distance, which scared him greatly. But, turning around, he saw no one. Kai began to walk through the dungeon. He does not understand what it was. Is there really someone else here? Kai climbed into one of the gorges and was immediately overwhelmed by a terrible stench. There were many corpses of travelers lying there. The hero covered his nose with his hand and began to walk on. He climbed the stairs and saw another similar slab. So Kai started reading it. The author hates them, hates the Imperial Army. They burned the village, used their fuel. They mercilessly killed his entire family. Scoundrels hiding their faces. They attacked silently like ghosts. Cowardly deserters who disobeyed the Emperor's orders. They destroyed the houses, grinning devilishly. So he, Mortal, the shaman of this village, curses them. They will never leave this place. They will wander here in pain and suffering forever, even after death when only bones remain. Mortal, bones, skull. Wait, the writing here is different from the previous ones. The Imperial Army plundered the village, killed the inhabitants and burned everything. Vile freaks. Suddenly, Kai got a quest battle brang. He had to destroy the leader of the deserters, Giratina, cursed by Mortal. To activate, you need to pronounce the words of the curse. Kai said mortal, bones, skulls, and the earth shook. The slab broke, bones came out and began to gather together. Giratina, with his eyes red and furious, said that everything should burn with hellfire. He asked how the hero dared to defile him with his pathetic words. He should have pulled Morutala's organs out alive and ground them into dust instead of starving them. Oh shit, Kai is shaking all over. Giratina asks our hero if he freed him, uttering the words of a curse. Kai replied that he had guessed correctly and shouted that he would answer for the murder of the innocent and the destruction of the village. Giratina went berserk and struck our hero. How dare a commoner judge him? An arrogant, stupid man. Giratina shouted that Kai would not live. Location bosses. Each of them has their own unique name. For example, Black Mountain. Monsters in the scheme are divided into location bosses and regular monsters. Because bosses are stronger than regular mobs of the same level, putting them on the same level is simply unthinkable. And even knowing this, Kai couldn't even imagine that the battles with the first ones would be so difficult. Health was less than 20%. Damn. This fight won't be easy this time. It's so good that while the hero holds on, he can heal, to Giratina's surprise. The whole body aches with pain, but regeneration is almost instantaneous. All thanks to the effects of the Florin Star and the new armor. Giratina began to run towards Kai, wondering what kind of dark magic he was using. The hero must react with lightning speed, faster, before the monster catches up with him. And immediately after that, counterattack. This tactic worked successfully. Kai can't believe he did it. The incredible strength, health, and agility granted by his gear allows him to move however he wants. Thanks to this, Kai can fight back even against a boss. This is what it means to have a good staff in scheme. With such an armor set, the hero can win. Giratina's body may be cursed, but he won't let himself fall at the hands of a newbie. He is ready to kill the hero, tear the skin from his bones and free himself from the curse. Kai mockingly told the turtle to chat as much as he wanted. A crazy little bug that doesn't know its place. Giratina will show you what class difference means. And then he began to remove the restraining seal. The monster's level increased to 35. And then Giratina struck Kai with his sword several times with lightning speed. Then the monster hit him in the back and the hero rolled straight into the wall. Giratina thinks he couldn't cut the boy in half with one blow because of his magic. How annoying. But the monster has no more reason to swing his sword. He will put an end to this little man's miserable life. Damn, Kai is in hellish pain. If he didn't have this armor, he would have died 20 times over. But now he is not the same as he was before. Our hero has 300 units of health, and the recovery is more than 100 units every couple of seconds. And all thanks to a set of incredible equipment. As long as Kai doesn't die, he will always have a few seconds to fully restore his health. It was hard to imagine that a lottery pendant would play such a big role in his future. As Giratina sees it, this guy can withstand his sword strike. Kai took his chance and is back in action. And let him believe that our hero will definitely destroy him, avenging all the dead villagers. Giratina swung his sword and struck. Kai blocked the blow with his weapon, but the boss's strength was incredible. Afterwards, the hero suddenly ran away and Giratina's sword hit the ground. Kai waited for the boss to open up to strike. Great, the hero got it. We must not lose momentum, and strike a few more blows. Giratina went berserk and swung at Kai, but he quickly cut off the monster's hand. And then he ran closer and started cutting off the legs. Giratina fell to the ground and Kai put his sword to his skull. That was the end of him. The monster can't believe that this is even possible. He asks what our hero is. Is this the same creature that blessed Bellic? Or the heir of Bernardor? who opened the chest of the dead. How could Kai defeat him, Giratina, a former knight and the golden predator of the great imperial army? Knight? Can he even hear himself? The hero pointed his sword at Giratina, calling him a pathetic murderer who was slandering the empire. However, the monster said that the youth had no idea what it meant to be a warrior. Kai asked, "What about Giratina himself? He attacked a peaceful village and killed every living thing. Is that really the act of a warrior?" The skeletons screamed that they had no choice. Hunger had begun. The war was in full swing, and their army was no longer being supplied with supplies. There was nothing to eat, and they were forced to ask for help from the inhabitants of the village they were defending. But they stubbornly saw the soldiers only as enemies and even decided to attack. Not a drop of gratitude for what the soldiers did to protect them. Those little bugs have no honor to try to fight the Imperial army after all they've done for them. That is, only because of this they killed all the inhabitants. Giratin said that not a single pathetic worm survived. If it weren't for Moritala's curse, it would have been such a wonderful memory. Giratina asked if Kai knew what it meant to be a warrior. Let him believe that our hero knows a lot more about it than someone like him. Kai served for 2 years. The soldier's oath. They swore in front of the people and the nation. They are the army of the Republic of Korea. And at that moment, Kai delivered the decisive blow to Giratina's head. A bad memory came to mind. "Just think," he blurted out such a stupid thing about a soldier's oath. "Have you completely lost your mind?" And then Kai started getting notifications about his level increase. He had risen 6 whole levels. Well, Giratina gives it, all thanks to him. Our hero has a new achievement, collected 11 swords. It gives +2 units to all stats. Kai turned his head and saw a large maroon cannonball. It was clearly different from anything he had seen before. The hero opened the core and a whole mountain of various treasures fell out of it. Kai, his eyes wild, ran quickly to put everything away in his inventory. But he saw the most important reward off to the side. It was what Giratina was holding in his hands. 11 engraved swords, the Sharma sword. But the most important thing is that this is a sword of unique rank. Kai can't believe his eyes. The highest known rank was rare, but it seems there is something even higher. If the Sharma sword is unique, then even in the future it is unlikely that anything similar to it will be found. Kai was the first in the game to receive a rare artifact, but also a unique one. The hero tried to take it, but the sword dissolved. At this moment, the system wrote that he had learned the skill Summon Engraved Sword. Kai can summon the sword or make it disappear by saying its name. So the skill Charm will be the first in our hero's collection. Well, now is the time to try. Kai said the word Sharma, and the sword appeared again. It fits comfortably in your hand and the weight is just perfect. What a pathetic fool this Giratina is. He didn't really want to share such a sword. Kai wants to try it out in a real battle. Suddenly, he felt that he had stepped on something. The hero crouched down and picked up the seal of the defeated knight Giratina from the floor, also of a unique rank. However, you must fulfill the necessary conditions to start the hidden quest. Whatever was meant by hidden, Kai had better get to it quickly, so he quickly collected the rewards. He wondered how much all this could be sold for. Probably about 500 gold, if he didn't sell it for too little. Seeing the light coming through the stones, Kai realized that it was already dawn. He needed to take the loot to the nearest village. With this money, he will be able to forget about poverty for a while. He goes to the city of Arts Toiko. People were puzzled to see that these were actually artifacts for sale. Right on the first page of the auction, there was a skill book that was increasing in price every second. But people were even more shocked when they saw that all these things were put up by one player. And the same person who sells the rare book of the fast healing skill is Mose. The current price is 800 gold. The players can't believe it. This is the same Mose who was with Silborn during the troll hunt. At the Central Trade Committee of Arantas, in the Toiki branch, mountains of gold bars were laid out in front of Kai. The worker counted and said that our hero earned 8,726 gold pieces at the auction. Kai couldn't believe it so much that he asked again 3 times. He fell to the ground in shock. The hero should be happy, but he still can't believe that what's happening is real. So Kai earned 80 million won in that dungeon. Meanwhile, he asked the worker about those coins on the side. They don't look like gold, so he doesn't know. The goblin said that there is an Ormacon token in front of Mose. One such token is equivalent to 1,000 gold. Kai took it in his hands. It is a currency with a magical rank, a valuable currency depicting Ormacon, the legendary golden-skinned dragon. Contains the famous Orma ore. The worker also wants to warn him that Mose needs to be vigilant for a while. Now everyone in town will want to know who this Mose is. A dark guild has formed in the game. Its members are robbing and killing both players and NPCs. It seems that Kai really should be careful. People have been gossiping all day about how much money Mose got from the auction. Probably at least 100 million won. The guys are jealous with black envy. They would rob on meeting. Kai was hiding under the robe. Everything is much more serious than he assumed. It's time for him to go into hiding, but the hood's stealth effect will soon wear off. Something better is needed. Kai immediately went to the blacksmith and told him that he needed armor that would completely hide both the body and the face, and so that it was durable. The man was very surprised and said that it would cost the guy a pretty penny. Kai just asked to show what was there. He doesn't care about the price. The blacksmith rummaged through the warehouse and pulled out silver armor, the shine of which could probably be seen from space. It's unlikely that Mose would be recognized if he was equipped with this, a real work of art. The blacksmith was lost in his memories. He had made this armor for the Kingsmith competition long ago. Kai asked what the price was and the man replied, 200 gold. He knows it's a bit expensive, but this set is his best work. He won that competition with it. However, Kai, with a happy smile, laid the coins on the blacksmith's table, saying that he would take the whole set. Kia was on a mission again when Veyron suddenly appeared waiting for her. The guy told the girl that he could help if he wanted. Kia responded that Veyron would be a burden, considering the mission had taken months of preparation. The boy chuckled and said that she was not so simple for a mongrel. And then Kia pounced on him. And she's as fast as always. Veyron asked to go easy. Does he really want to cut up a colleague on duty? Kia hid the sword and advised him to think next time before opening his mouth. The girl threw a stone, said, "In Astana," and left through the resulting portal. What an impudent mongrel. Okay, Veyron took out a roll of paper. Well, he has to find out where they could have hidden it so well. Namely, Florin's star. The man thanked Kai, calling him his savior. The hero asks not to thank him. The coachman agreed to give him a ride, so they are even. The man thought that monster would eat him, so he was really grateful. He looked at Kai and asked if he was still a student. Quite young. Yes, the hero said that he decided to earn money for his education, and now this is the situation. The coachman bets his teeth that the boy's parents are proud of such an independent son. Kai suggested leaving that out and asked how Uncle got into the scheme. The man replied that it was a long story. He was fired from the company, after which he opened his own chicken restaurant, but soon went bankrupt. Then I heard about scheme. It seemed like a good way to earn money and decided to try it. Working on delivery is a responsible job, so everything would go to hell if that monster ate him. Uncle asked where the guy was heading. Kai replied that he was going nowhere for now, but would plan something as soon as he got to the Silver Valley. The man asked to let him know as soon as the hero decided. We'll take him to the ends of the earth. There is a fountain in the center of the Silver Valley, so they agreed to meet there. Suddenly, the conversation was interrupted by a warning. Kai's armor needed repair. He was surprised that it happened so quickly. Well, okay, then he'll do that first. While the blacksmith was repairing the armor, Kai was thinking. It would be cool to get Giratina's seal, of course. Is it clear about the hidden quest? What are the conditions? They could at least give some hint. The hero thinks all the time, but what's the point? Damn, it seems he's at a dead end. Okay, first he needs to meet Uncle Ferryman, and then plan the next step. And just like that, the blacksmith finished repairing the armor. When he went outside, Kai didn't understand why there were so many people there. The Valley clan members beat up the uncle for being late. The players are indignant. The man only delayed the delivery a little, that's all. I can't believe this guy is the heir to the clan. And why is the Valley clan always at the center of all the troubles? What is the Order of the 14 Knights doing anyway? They're supposed to be catching violators of public order. The guy was ready to kill his uncle when Kai grabbed him by the hand. The hero said that sometimes things happen on the road and people are late. This is not a reason for beatings. The clan heir quickly took the hand back. He shouted that the boy didn't even know who he was. According to him, everyone in the valley is obliged to obey him, and if someone spoils his mood, he uses force. Is such a small thing really enough for him to hit a person? The guy said that if Kai doesn't like something, let him swallow his fist. The hero dodged and immediately punched the heir in the face. The uncle recognized his savior. People fell silent in shock and anticipation. Kai just punched the heir of the Valley clan. Is he crazy? The great Morik of the Valley pointed his finger at our hero, asking how he dared to hit his son. Morik told his bodyguard, Python, to make the impudent boy answer for this. Python approached Kai and said that this monster attacked the master's son. He will deal with him. He swears by the name of the Knight of the Silver Valley. The man swung, wanting to hit Kai on the head, but he called on Sharma and blocked the blow. And then the hero suddenly pushed and threw Python back. Morik asks what Python is doing. Let him get up immediately. And he considers himself a knight? Kai came closer, pointed his sword and said that now it was Morik. People pointed at our hero and said that, judging by his armor, he was from the Order of the 14 Knights. With such power, it's not surprising. People are incredibly happy that the knights finally came to help. Morik took away half of the residents' income, calling it taxes. And some people's fathers were executed because they had nothing to pay with. In the name of Bellica, the people are asking for his punishment. Kai has no idea who these 14 knights are, but judging by how the situation is developing, we need to take advantage. Kai asked Morik if everything he said was true. The man began to justify himself, saying that perhaps it was partly because they were simply stocking up in case of famine. Then Kai, with wild eyes, suggested visiting Morik's house and making sure of this. The man fell to his knees and began to apologize for the terrible crime. He begged for mercy. Well, since Morik admits his crimes, Kai will not take his life, but he will compensate all the victims. The man promised to do everything, and people were delighted. Moses' fame level rose by 2874 units thanks to rumors, and then the hidden quest, Tyranny of the Valley Clan, was completed. The reward was a hint to obtain a rare artifact. Now that was unexpected. Kai had to go to Fallup, a city on the edge of the continent. He was surprised that everything was so simple. The guy from the Order asked if the commander would arrest Kai. He was posing as one of them. We need to punish this one in armor. However, the boys seem to have forgotten God's prophecy that one day a wanderer would make this world a better place. And as they could see, this guy made their workload a little bit less. That's true. But who is he? The commander is not sure, but he thinks that this is the same Mose that everyone is talking about. A famous person. Wanderer Mose. And then two guys decided to follow him. So, the next place Kai will go is Fallup. Some time passed after arriving in the city. Our hero fell right in front of the entrance to the city employment office and sighed heavily. He doesn't understand anything at all. How many days has this been going on? Secret class. Unlike normal players, players of this class possess hidden powers or knowledge. But such people are rare. These classes are so rare that nothing much is known about them in the scheme's community. So even the employee at the bureau couldn't help Kai in any way. Does he really have to search the city? And then the hero noticed elves passing by. He didn't think he would meet them here. Fallup is full of surprises. And while Kai was distracted, some guy with a bag in his hand pushed him at breakneck speed. He shouted for our hero to watch where he was going, but he himself ran into him. What was there to shout about? Kai, in a serious tone, wished the guy to get into a pile of shit. And then there was an explosion. Oops, that turned out to be a big pile. The guy hit his head hard, but he was only interested in the scattered money. And then Veyron showed up, stepped on the coins, and called the guy a dirty cheater. He decided to heat it up, and then decided that he could escape. Kai looked in amazement. This guy had no shortage of strength. And then the hero saw a familiar ring on Veyron's finger. Maybe this is the one he needs. The thief took out a dagger and wanted to stab the guy in the robe. But Veyron got ahead and struck first with the knife. The guy is annoyed. He just wasted his time. Kai is so impressed that he didn't even notice the guy's movements. What kind of guy is this anyway? Suddenly, a notification came that the hero had completed a hidden quest. He had found a hint to the secret class reward. The hidden quest. Secret class swordsman is started. Kai is told to talk to the man in the black robe. The hero followed the guy. Then Kai simply assumed because he saw everything from afar. But now there is no doubt. The ring of the guy in the manti is exactly like Giratina's. He did say he was a swordsman. Who knew that his murder would lead the hero here? Maybe luck really is on his side? But then suddenly, he saw that the guy in the robe had disappeared. And at that moment, Veyron grabbed Kai by the neck from behind and dragged him into the alley. The guy pointed a sword at the hero and called him a rat. Veyron asked if he had been following him. But then he noticed that very pendant on our hero and asked where he got it from. Veyron demands an answer. Someone more worthy deserves it. Kai said he won it in the lottery. After these words, Veyron hit the hero so hard that his health level dropped below 5%. The guy decided that our hero was joking. But Kai was serious. The thing is that in the city of Linder, An old man sold him stone runes. Veyron grabbed the hero and asked what the old man looked like. He had a beard, gray hair, and a robe. The guy suddenly let go of Kai. He grinned, saying that meant that the old man was in Lindirk. The hero asked who he was. Veyron said that in the criminal world, the man was known as a high-class criminal. The Gambler of Cairo. Kai is shocked, so he bought the runes from a charlatan. And so Veyron was tasked with tracking down Cairo. The gambler knows about one of the mysteries of the continent of Aspargan, the disappearance of the Cavalcade of Langarus. Kai looked at him questioningly. Veyron was shocked that this idiot didn't even know that. Okay, he started to tell. The Cavalcade was considered the greatest fighting force on the continent, but one day it all disappeared on its way to war. A search party investigated the site where the warriors disappeared, but found only abandoned ruins. It turns out that this pendant belonged to Florin, the commander of the Langarus Cavalcade, and Kai thought it was just a magnificent artifact. Veyron watched the hero closely. Judging by how quickly his wounds healed, the star was real. And after that, the guy hit Kai with the sword again. The hero asked what he was doing. Veyron replied that Florin was not here, so he would kill Kai and take the pendant. The guy told me to be a good boy and die. So that means he was planning to kill Kai from the very beginning. Dead men tell no tales. It was clear why Veyron had given it all away so easily. Kai immediately summoned Charm. However, the guy was faster and dealt several blows with his sword. The hero's health level is less than 10%. Veyron is glad that the suspension will finally be his, but he was shocked that Kai was even alive after that blow. Veyron even thought that this guy was immortal. What do they call it? User. Player. He'd heard something like that before. It doesn't matter though. Even if Kai rises from the dead, Veyron will seek him out to kill him again and again. The hero tells himself that everything is fine. He just needs to wait a couple of seconds. Veyron asked if the boy really thought he would silently watch him being treated. Veyron hit Kai so hard that he had less than 3% health left. No, consciousness leaves the hero. It's that simple. A moment later, Kai woke up and heard a man say that the swordsman kept all the truth in the sword and devoted himself entirely to it. He should have reminded Veyron more often that this was a top-secret mission. Kai is trying to understand what's going on here. The man says that Veyron not only spilled all the secrets to the immortal, but also succumbed to temptation and behaved like a lousy dog, calls him a traitor and sentences him to death. Veyron tries to tell Master Robin that everything is wrong and asks to give him another chance. And then the man cut off the guy's head, saying that he would apologize in hell. Robin approached our hero and said that he was next. Now Kai knows too much, so he must understand everything himself. That first one really scared the hero. But now this person in front of him is on a completely different level. There is a huge difference between them. Is this really how Kai will end up? No, he told himself he would be different. The hero decided to bet everything on the scheme. Kai began to slowly get up. This man, Master Robin, belongs to the secret class. There will be no other chance. Even if the hero dies and has to pay a fine, he is not going to retreat. Robin said that the guy was aware of the difference in their strengths, but still challenged him. Kai replied that even if he died and rose from the dead, the master would still be chasing him, so he would give it his all. This is some fortitude. Even though the guy is shaking, he has no shortage of courage and will to live. Even among swordsmen, it is rare to meet such a person. And then Robin noticed the swordsman's seal on his finger. The master grabbed Kai by the neck and demanded that he tell him what this ring was doing to him. The hero can't even move. He can barely speak, but he answers that he got the ring after defeating Giratina. Robin was even more shocked and asked to repeat it. The master let go abruptly. He can't believe that Giratina died at the hands of this guy, but he can see from his eyes that he's not lying. Kai said that Giratina was a swordsman too. Robin replied that yes, he was. Several hundred years ago, Giratina defected to the Imperial Army and betrayed the swordsman. There weren't many of them back then, so no one could stand up to the Imperial Army, and Giratina bided his time. So that's where Giratina got that weird ring from. Kai apologized. Maybe he shouldn't have killed him. Robin said it was okay. Someone had to do it sooner or later. But after everything Kai learned about the mission, his stomach won't go away. Unless… In short, our hero has two options. Every time after rebirth, immediately die in agony, or become a replacement for this dead idiot and work for them. Robin sternly demanded that the immortal choose. But Kai didn't even listen to the end and immediately said that they would work together. The master asked if the guy wouldn't even think about it properly. It is as unthinkable as if Bellica, the goddess of the sun, were suddenly covered in ice. Kai remained silent. Well, he made his choice. Robin doesn't know if the boy can really become a swordsman, but... And then he hit the hero in the face so hard that he tore off his helmet. The last words Kai remembered were that it was a greeting. After some time, Kai woke up in a new location, a sanctuary. More time passed. The hero adapted. Now he is in the training room with Kia. Kai lunged at her with a wooden sword, but she immediately blocked it. He seemed to think he could handle her one-on-one. Kia can track every movement of his sword. Kai can't compare to her in speed and technique. Kia is number one among the master's students, and these are not empty words. The hero was distracted, opened up, and the girl delivered the final blow. He fell and she held out her hand to him. Kia said it was not bad, but Kai had room to grow. The hero asked to just give him time. Next time he will win. Back to the real world. Kai's mom is shocked. She asks what the hell this is. The hero asks to just accept them. However, for the mother, 4 million won is a huge amount. She asks her not to lie and to tell where she got the money from. Mom will worry that it's something illegal. Kai replied that it was just a gift. He saved up for a long time and finally saved up. By the way, his mother asked him why he suddenly became so polite. Kai replied that he was hanging up and had to run. It was her money, so let her decide how to spend it. The hero would call back later. He turned off the alarm and sighed. I wonder how much training they'll wear him out today. A few days ago, after Kai was knocked out, he woke up in the sanctuary. It is a secret hideout for a group of mercenaries who call themselves the swordsmen. They swear allegiance to Azerus, the goddess of blades. They are a small organization and are engaged in the fulfillment of various international orders. And Robin, the man who brought Kai here, introduced himself as one of the 10 masters and offered to join the ranks of the swordsmen. Deciding that it was fate, the hero joined them. But a little time passed and he had to regret this decision. The one who forgets the basics dies first. The workload was long and very intense, so Kai wondered if this could be the reason for the small number of members in this organization. Many of their missions are secret and national in nature, so it is important to know as much as possible about all the countries. Kai was told to learn as much as he could. If you ask how he endured it, he will answer in one word, Kia. It was only thanks to her that he didn't give up everything. Both the path to becoming a swordsman and the game itself. Suddenly she asked what Mose was thinking about. Kai replied that he was simply shocked that they would have their first official mission. Kia said it was okay to be nervous, but the main thing was not to screw it up. Who does she think he is? Kai is now, in fact, also a swordsman and already knows the rules. Okay, Kia said not to worry so much, she hoped to see Mose alive. They agreed to meet at the sanctuary. The girl left. So, it's time for Kai to go to Aspargan. He successfully completed the training course and is now a full member of the organization. To prove this, Kai received the Swordsman's Seal, their signature ring that increases melee damage. And for his first mission as a swordsman, the hero returned to Aspargan. From here, airships fly to the snow wall in the north of Langness. Kai needs to find the source of supernatural activity in the northeastern region. The customer is the Order of the 14 Knights, and the number of players has increased. 2 guys nearby were amazed by the new magic armor. Now that's chic. A couple of months ago, everyone was hitting slides in the hopes of getting a magic item. Now the average level of artifacts has increased noticeably. Suddenly, Kai heard someone's cries for help. The guy had all the artifacts he had collected in the hunting grounds of Velenko stolen, and was told they wouldn't be returned unless he paid a ransom. As players have heard, the #1 guild is taking over the Velenko hunting grounds. It consists only of players with magical artifacts. They say that ordinary players and NPCs were kicked out so that only #1 could supply resources to large companies. Poor guy. He was unlucky enough to get involved with them. Guild #1 blocked the entrance, saying that this place is only for their members. What an outrage. Players were brazenly ejected by force. That guy from the square came and one of the guild asked if he brought money. The guy doesn't even know how much the artifact he scratched is worth. But then Kai appeared in front of the guild bandit. The hero said with a smile that the hunting grounds were a public area open to all players. Who were they to rule over it? The guys replied that they were the #1 guild and told us to leave on good terms. First they occupy common lands and now they threaten. It would seem that the bottom has been reached. But they are just trash, pathetic scum. The bald one from the guild wanted to pounce, but Kai got ahead of him and hit him in the face. Another guy from the guild called for help to finish off this bastard. For a skirmish like this, Kai doesn't even need Sharma. The hero killed everyone with his bare hands. He grabbed one guy by the throat. They wondered what the hell he was. Kai turned around and replied that he was just a player who decided to hunt in these lands. The guys are in a panic. They don't understand what to do. They can't just stand there and watch. Suddenly, Mr. Saksa asked what all the fuss was about. He is the leader and chief thug of the #1 guild. Now the guys think that Kai is dead because in front of him is the great Saksa, the leader of the guild and also a ranker. He also has a bronze token, which only players in the top 9,000 receive. Regular players are in a panic. Don't know what to do. Yes, while Kai was training with the swordsman, a lot has changed with Scheme. And the most recent innovation is the rating system. Just 3 months ago, a player's position in the rating was determined by his popularity. However, the Information Guild has started to keep track of the players at an official level. According to rumors of players fighting for a place in the ranking, there are more than 310,000. Saksa shouts and asks if the idioms don't know that the #1 guild has 7 rankers. The guild members are already behind schedule with their resource deliveries, and Saksa demands that everyone get out of here before he calls security. And he pointed his finger at Kai, saying that he would pay for raising his hand to his guys. And then our hero hit Sox in the face. Kai suggested calling everyone who was there, including the guards, and called Sharma. Let them see Sox's business crumble to dust. Lines of blue light enveloped the guild boys. And literally a millisecond later, they were cut up like a piece of meat. Those who remained untouched began to run away. Well, that's it. A message came in that the airship Kai had reserved a place on was leaving in 10 minutes. I was so focused on these freaks that I completely forgot about my main task. But I helped my fellow players. Kai boarded the airship Velis Dawn. He was enjoying the view from the window when a guy approached him. He asked if Kai was here on a mission. The hero came closer and noticed the swordsman's ring on the guy's finger. Kai bowed, saying that the truth only calls to the sword. The boy repeated the same. However, he has some unusual aura. Our hero has activated Insight, Moses' unique ability that allows him to see the name and level of another player or NPC. Kai was shocked. This guy was level 91. They smiled at each other. The guy didn't think he would meet a swordsman here. His name is Kalawar, a swordsman from Laoswan. The hero introduces himself as Mose, a swordsman from Aspergen. Kalawar said that something serious must have happened up north. Kai asked him why he thought so. The guy told me to think about it myself. Why were there 5 big shots on one airship? Kai didn't understand who he was talking about, and Kalawar was just on his way to see them and offered to our hero. Now Kai is curious. Then the guy said to follow him. They entered a luxurious, spacious hall. The hero looked around and Kalawar led him to the table. Everyone was assembled. Some of the strongest people on the continent. Aurora, a level 201 Triple Crown rank mercenary, asked if the boys had come to participate in their mission. A 5th-generation bin caravan merchant, Yvonne replied that they didn't exactly look like skilled fighters. A member of the Order of the 14 Knights, Hare, said that although they may not make a serious impression, one of them possesses the blessing of an immortal. Kai looked at Kai with a strange smile. The hero thought that maybe the guy knew him from somewhere. Tikris's swordmaster, Gon, said he heard of a wanderer who managed to become a swordsman. So it was Mose. Kai is shocked. This man is level 244. Swordsmen are divided into swordsmen, masters, and grandmasters. A grandmaster of the sword is the highest level of the swordsman's profession. Everyone who has been trained in the sanctuary and received the seal strives for it. So Gon is a legendary grandmaster. The king of kings, no less. Mose introduced himself. He belongs to the sanctuary of Aspargan, and Kalawar from the Laoswan sanctuary. Gon gave the 2 boys a stern look, and then he laughed loudly. Young swordsmen are not afraid of the grandmaster of the sword. Gon said that a bright future awaits them. Kai received a secret achievement. Meet the Ghostblade. He met Gon, one of the 2 Ghostblades. The hero was given a couple of stat points of strength simply for meeting the Grandmaster. So how strong are these guys? It's no wonder this is an S-class mission with people like that involved. The captain of the airship Dawn, McGraffin, began speaking over the loudspeaker. Soon they will arrive in the north of Langnus to the snow wall. Their journey is coming to an end. But McGraffin is confident that for the passengers it is just beginning. May the blessings of Bellica and Bellis be with them. Gon suggested discussing all the details in Langaru, and then the quest level became twice as difficult. The task is to find the source of supernatural activity on the northeastern edge of Aspargan. The team gathered in the north of Langnas, in the fortress of the snow wall. The quest level suddenly increased. Gon said that if this continues, the mission will have to be cancelled. Aurora replied that maybe it was for the best. The newcomers here would clearly be going wild, and looked at Kai and Callowar. But Yvonne asked why the difficulty had increased. Kair said the document identified the source of the supernatural activity. On the eastern continent of Lan, the magical continent of Olu, and here in Langaru, many red lightning bolts appeared and caused damage. At first they thought it was a natural phenomenon caused by a magical experiment in Olu. But since the lightning is red, it's probably Garnus. Yes, but the guys don't know how exactly he got here. A disaster-class monster of the 17th danger level that arrived from an unknown continent. The elder dragon Garnus reached Langnas. And what? Aurora asked what the reward was for him. Kai replied, 50 Ormacons from the Orantis Bank. Aurora laughed, as expected from the Order of the 14 Knights. He likes Hare's honesty, but Yvonne said she needed something else besides money. Then Kair asked about the rights to trade in food in Aspergen. He knows how to please her. As for Mr. Gon, to be honest, Kair doesn't know what to offer him. The Grandmaster said he was in if these two, Mose and Callowar, joined the quest on his terms. Gon invited the hero to his team. Kai can't believe his eyes. The boys went to the Dragon on the Snow Hotel in the city of Langaru. A member of the Sincerity Caravan, Sire greets the saviors with the names of Bellica and Bellis. Gon said that they did not deserve such high words. Kai was surprised that he had arrived before them. Could he really be from the Order of the 14 Knights? Although, what is it? You just have to look at Cyrus's level. Everyone sat down at the table. Aurora asked how things were now. Sayer said there was no red lightning at the moment. A lull. Gon said it was time to act. Aurora will be at the forefront and take all the brunt. Okay, the front line is behind him. Gon will take care of the swordsman in the rear. They will attack from behind. Yvonne's power will immobilize the enemy. Hare will join Mr. Gon, and Syrah will have magical support. Great. Sire is now casting a spell that will transport them closer to Garnus without attracting his attention. Gon is inspired and tells the ladies and gentlemen to do it. Kai can barely walk. He can't see anything because of the snow. Suddenly, a red lightning flashed, and Garnus simply moved his wings. What a force. Callowar told Mose to hurry. Finally, everyone is here. Once everyone is here, we can begin. The sounds of fountains, the sounds of oceans, the sounds of the depths of the sea. With his name, Sayer conjures, as if the bottom of the ocean, the earth will be covered with thick silence. Let it be so. And Sayo struck the ground with his staff. Everyone's ears started ringing. Very powerful magic, it really shook Kai up. Cyrus began his song to the indestructible Bellica, their wise goddess. O Bellis, their stern but wise patron, two deities who float in the waters of the endless sky, and who are not destined to meet. Sir rang the bell. Cyrus continued to sing. The boys heard the sacred singing and the effect was activated. They now regenerate 583 health per second, and all attack power is increased by 34%. Great. They'll definitely need that. Kai feels the power. It fills him. After all, the support has excellent skills, having reached the pinnacle of mastery. Suddenly, unbearably loud sounds began. It seems that the enemy is already close. Gon shouted and told everyone to pay attention. Aurora raised his shield and the others also got ready. Kai began to wonder where the dragon would come from. However, he was shocked when the monster appeared right behind him. The dragon roared so loudly that the hero could not stand on his feet. The monster started swinging. Kai will probably die here. Aurora protected Kai with a shield from the fire breath. The guy called the hero an idiot and asked him why he was sitting there and let him run to the rear. Yvonne tied the dragon's mouth to keep him quiet for at least a little while. Now it's Gon and Hare's turn. They strike the dragon with their swords. That's what Gon thought. This tactic would allow them to buy time. Kai looks on in admiration. So this is how the strongest play. But then the monster broke Yvonne's chains. Aurora said to rely on him, and he used his shield to reflect the dragon's flame back at him. Sir and Cyrus began to pray. They asked the Almighty to have mercy on this mortal and to shed blessed light on their enemy. The skill dispersion has been activated. For the duration of the skill, all enemy stats are weakened. Aurora continued to direct flames at the dragon. Damn, but the monster turned out to be a tough guy. Kai was surprised that Aurora's level increased so quickly. The hero saw something like this during the battle with Giratina. This means that NPCs can level up just by picking up a special weapon. It looks like the dragon is about to attack from the sky. Yvonne screams that this cannot be allowed. She wove the monster's wings with her thorny vines. Yvonne says they can't last that long, the dragon is too strong. Kyre asks to hold him a little longer, he uses a charm. The guy just needs to fly. Calloware shouts to Mose that this is their chance while the dragon is tied up. They almost reach the monster, however. The dragon noticed them ahead of time and threw them back. Calloware and Kai flew into a snowdrift, but thank God everything is fine. And the hero thought they would succeed. This creature knew that they would attack. Gon laughed and told his cute swordsman that the tension was weighing on their shoulders. The boys can speed up and hit harder. Gon reminded that the duet of sword and technique is the main weapon of a swordsman. The man hit the dragon and said that the boys were obliged to become such masters one day. The dragon roared and fell. My, this is level 388. Gon is now even stronger than Garnus. His technique is perfect and has no equal. It seems Kai has found himself an idol. Gon shouted to his charges that this was their chance while the dragon was wounded. This raid can't end until Kai does something. The hero rushed towards the dragon, and Gon watched him closely. The man felt a special aura. It looks like Mose has a great future ahead of him. Kai got close and hit Garnus. Gon told the hero not to overexert himself. He was still a greenhorn. The man rushed forward and dealt a critical blow to the dragon. Nothing less was expected from the Grand Master. Kyre asked for attention and told everyone to move away from Garnus. A huge cloud with thunder and lightning hung over the dragon, and a golden blade hung over it. Aurora told all the boys to quickly hide behind his shield. Kyre asks for forgiveness from the ancient creature, but it is necessary to save millions of lives. Lightning struck Garnus with such force that the explosion enveloped tens of kilometers of terrain around. Finally, our team won. Suddenly, Kai noticed Garnus's core to the side. It looks like the guys can't see the core because they are NPCs. The hero approached the core and coughed to attract attention. However, Yvonne only said that the raid was over and said goodbye. And so ended the brutal battle against Garnus. During the battle, Kai rose as many as 25 levels. Aurora left the guys as soon as he received the award because he hates the cold. Yvonne called her men from Bin Caravan, who butchered the dragon's corpse. The bones and skin would make a good profit. She left very pleased with both the outcome of the battle and the spoils. Yvonne asked Hyre not to forget his promise. He extended his hand to thank Gon, Calloway, and Mose once again. Mr. Gon replied that meeting such talented guys is already a reward. Kyre looked at Kai with a soft smile and agreed. It was a bit difficult, but it seemed like Kyre appreciated his efforts. So everyone dispersed and Gon approached the guys. He called the swordsman Laoswan, and he knelt down. He called the swordsman Aspergen, and Kai did the same. The Grandmaster said that someday the fame of the boys' deeds would spread far and wide and reach his ears. And when that happens, he will welcome them with open arms. Gon said that he would look forward to that day and went to Bin Caravan through the portal. Well, Calloware has urgent matters to attend to as well, so he must go. The guy said goodbye and left, leaving Kai alone. Alone, the hero began to feel as if there had been no battle. Oh, right, we need to sort out the core. Kai doesn't know if it's right to just take the entire reward for himself, even though he hasn't really done anything. But it would be foolish to refuse such luxury. To stand in the same ranks with real warriors, he would need to be much stronger than he is now. Kai opened the core and armor and some kind of sword fell out. The hero leaned towards the blade and it turned out to be the legendary Rankatoria brand. This can't be, is it possible? After killing 100 monsters, the skill Destructive Flame Solar Storm is activated. And also the armor of the Rising Sun of Atoria is also of legendary rank. Player speed and melee strength increase, sword skill also increases. Wow. Kai even thought that maybe this was some kind of prank and there was a hidden camera somewhere. What fell out of Garnas's core was as amazing as the dragon itself. A legendary set that surpasses any unique artifacts. Our hero was the first in the scheme to receive legendary items. Courtney, the second streamer from the Republic of Korea, has started broadcasting. The Guild of Information posted the news yesterday morning. Players are in for a ranker battle, and anyone can take part in it. Until recently, a player's rank was assigned randomly based on his or her characteristics. However, in the future, more attention will be paid to this process and its verification. Rankers will be given national-level quests, so if someone is confident in their abilities, they can come to the central square of Aspergen. After deciding to become stronger in the game, Kai goes for a run every day to build up his endurance. This way you can stay in the game longer. After exiting the scheme, the hero felt dizzy. He played too long. It was hard to accept the difference between virtual and normal reality. Kai wanted to change real life and decided to do it with the help of the scheme, but the border between the two worlds became blurred. It's even funny. But the truth is that only in the game does he manage to earn fabulous money. Because of this, Kai decided to work on himself and take the game seriously. Should the scheme be viewed as simple entertainment? The hero looked at the children playing on the playground, the couples walking hand in hand. Kai thought, would he have a normal life like all these people if he didn't play the game? No, then the issue of lack of finances will not go away. Yes, Kai still thinks about it. He sighed and returned to where he belonged. The hero has handed over his armor to the blacksmith, and there is one more thing to do before heading to the shrine. Kai found a corner where no one would notice him and opened his inventory. A legendary artifact, after all, it wasn't a dream. And then something started to happen. It became very hot. Eventually, the alley was filled with light. Phew, Kai's head is splitting, but at least he got the passive skill, Atoria's fighting style. So that's how it works. The hero heard some sounds behind him. It seemed like there was someone there. Kai looked out from around the corner. The guy was discussing something. Wow, he was chatting so easily on the crystal ball. It's an artifact that allows players to communicate over a distance. A useful thing. The hero remembered the guys, Gale, Jim, Sharon, and thought of buying himself such a ball. At the same time, I also took the armor. That's it, now it's time to go to the sanctuary of Aspergen. The stewardess greeted him on the airship. They will do everything to make sure he goes through comfortably and asked where the hero is going. Kai replied, Bin Caravan. Then he should look into Rowandel's white horse. The stewardess will show him around. The hero goes to the sanctuary in person, and Robin decided to get off with a simple note. Suddenly, Kia asked why Mose was taking so long and whether she would always have to wait for him now. Kai was pleasantly surprised that she was flying with him. After all, they had a joint mission. Finally, they got there. The hero sighed. They got to Langaroo faster. Kia showed him the Bin Caravan Tower, a place of general trade. It looks impressive. Suddenly, a man called the boys. He introduced himself as Russell, the Silver Head, a member of the Information Guild. They took the elevator to the 81st floor of the Bin Caravan. Floors 80 through 90 are reserved for guest rooms. Russell said that Mose and Kia would be located on the 88th floor, in the smelting room. No one understood what that meant yet. The girl asked if their master had sent the Silver Head. Russell looked at Kaya suspiciously and replied that it was true. He would tell him more after he arrived. They entered the room and the guy closed the door. Before I begin, I want to warn you that everything I say is equal in importance to the words of Master Robin. Kia and Mose knelt down, saying that the swords they had summoned were here. Russell took the paper and began to read. 2 boys were chosen to carry out the mission assigned by the organization. Recently, artifacts were illegally brought into Bin Caravan that should not fall into anyone's hands. They are called Rhapsody of Julicinia. Here are rhapsodies from the 7th to the 14th inclusive. They say they will soon be put up for auction, which will take place on the top floor. Bin Caravan is run by merchants, so no one, including the swordsman, can take away an item if it comes here as a commodity. Mose and Kia's task is to buy the artifacts. Kia will participate in the auction under the guise of aristocrat Ariane Marie, and Mose will play the role of her bodyguard, a knight named Maxim. So, the guys came to a fancy ball where all the aristocracy had gathered. The butler introduced the Ariane family from Perif. Everyone looks only at the gorgeous Kia. And behind, in armor, comes Kai. To participate in the auction, they had to go out into the world. A great start. Akazit von Rame of the Akazit clan greeted the young lady of the Aryan clan. She offered to join their table if it would not inconvenience Marie. Kia bowed, thanking him for the offer. Kai looked around and didn't understand why everyone was laughing. So Akazit led the heroes to the table. She introduced the guests to Lady Ari Ak. That is, she mangled the surname. The girls giggled, telling their sister that this was not right. Kia only smiled proudly. Akazit, wiping away a tear, asked for forgiveness. She supposedly wanted to show respect by using the Perif dialect. The girl had heard that Ariane's homeland was famous for its grapes. Akazit asked if Mary's family had vineyards. Kia replied that they did, and that they had quite a few. The girls asked in surprise if Ariane had received her title through farming. The Ikazit family has a rich history, with many sorcerers in their line who received power from magical artifacts, and all of them served at the royal court. But Ariane's family should find something better to do. Not to mention the elven blood in their veins. Girls can't imagine what it's like to look like one of the slaves for sale on the lower floors of a skyscraper. Akazit was always curious about why Ariane's necklace was on backwards, but it turned out that she was a real simpleton. Akazit asked Orf to fix the lady's jewelry, otherwise it was painful to look at. A knight from that family approached Kay and reached for the girl's chest, following the Lord's command. At this point, Mose, who plays Maxim, grabbed Orf by the hand and asked how dare he touch Mary with his dirty hands. Is he really looking for death? Kia chuckled quietly and asked if all the knights of the Akazit family were such idiots or just Orth. The girls of the family were outraged by such rudeness. Mary called them arrogant fools. The noble lady has honored them with her presence and wants to resolve this situation with dignity and fairness, as befits aristocrats. She, Marie of the Ariane family, has been the victim of a gross insult from the Akazit family. Therefore, she challenges their knight to a duel with hers, in order to protect his honor. Maxim is a knight of the flowers of the Aryan family, always ready. Victory in the battle for the honor of the family will be his. The guests began to whisper. So this was a duel at the first appearance. The Akazites were not so easy to deal with. The Akazit sisters tell Orf, their brave knight, to defend the family's honor. This guy is only level 32, not that high. Orf attacked Maxim, but was too slow. Kai intercepted the blow and hit Orpha in the jaw, so hard that he fell. The people watched with wide eyes as Maximum took out the Akazit family knight with one blow. That's power! Then Sister Akazit told Launchil, another of her loyal knights, to deal with this trash. Launchil, the Knight of the Wind, said that he had received orders from Lady Akazit to deal with Maxim here and now. The guy was about to attack Kai from behind. However, our hero parried every blow of the knight. Maxim hovered over Launcello and asked if that was all. The guy called our hero a monster. Thus, Kai took down two of the strongest knights of the Akazit family. Kia stepped proudly into the middle of the room and said that she, Ariane Marie, was deeply disappointed with what was happening here. Snobs decided to mock a family that came from distant lands. What kind of prejudice is this? Marie hopes that in the future their event will welcome guests from afar much more warmly. Let them not forget that Bin Karawan is a place where all the cultures and peoples of this world meet and interact. And after this speech, everyone present applauded with admiration. One old man in the crowd quietly said that the moment had finally come. How long he had waited for this, Mose. Now the boy's mission really began. The reception went well, but the main goal was the auction. Kai lay and looked at Kia in amazement. She asked what he was staring at. The hero replied that it was nothing like that, it was just that the girl got into the role so well. What was there to play with? Especially since I was dealing with the nobility? Kai immediately started asking a million questions about what, how, and when. Kia said she used to be a slave in the house of aristocrats. Their behavior, their thoughts, all of it seemed to be ingrained in her. Honestly, as a half-elf who had been in slavery, she wanted to finish Mose off on the spot. But now she is a swordsman. Kia, who suffered because of her position and status, is already dead. Kai started to apologize, but the girl hit him, saying that everything was fine and that he should relax. I asked why his face was so scared. We decided after all. The master said that he would give the boys a good rest after the mission. Therefore, the mission must be completed successfully. The heroes have 25 Ormicons and another 7,000 in gold. If they buy an artifact for less, that's good, but it won't end there. There is someone else hunting for the scores. We need to get rid of these people, so we'll have to haggle to figure them out. Kai has never worn a three-piece suit in his life, and here is Eden, the Bin Caravan auction house. Well, let's get to the mission. The host asked the ladies and gentlemen, as well as the distinguished guests, for their attention. Just today, here and now, they will be presented with artifacts more valuable than any jewels, from treasures that hold the secrets of the world to artifacts that will raise their level and will definitely not leave them indifferent. So, they are already starting. The first lot was brought out on a cart onto the stage. Everyone froze in anticipation. So, the first lot for today is a nail from the index finger of the last princess of the destroyed kingdom of Ezrindil. Kai and Kia breathed a sigh of relief, and they had already thought, the owner of this unique item receives the quest, the tragedy of the Ezrindil family. The presenter said that the starting price was 3 Ormicons. Those present began shouting over each other, offering more and more. In the end, everyone settled on a price of 17 Ormicons. The hall was silent, so the host congratulated the first buyer. The hero sighed heavily, how tired he was. Kia said to pull herself together. The auction has just begun. Kai slapped himself across the cheeks. Right, I need to pull myself together. Then the host began to announce the next lot for tonight. The work of the most talented and at the same time most malicious composer. The guests are presented with the Rhapsodies of Eulicia from the 7th to the 14th. Kai was very surprised when he saw that the information window was black. Surely the artifact is not so simple. Starting price, 4 ormacons. 6, 7, 8, and finally someone offered 9 ormacons. The host asked if anyone wanted to raise the stake. Suddenly, Kea held up the sign and said the number 25. The host asked who would give more, but the audience was silent. But then from the back rows, the number 50 ormacons was heard. Kai stood up indignantly. It seemed like someone had money to burn. Kea quickly sat him down so he wouldn't move. She shouted that she was giving 75 ormacons, that is, 70,000 gold. Kai asked if she was in her right mind. Kea replied that everything was fine, she was waiting for a reaction. And then an old man offered 100 ormaconami. The presenter, in both shock and delight, announced that this was the highest price in the history of the auction. Kea had said so. Now all that was left was to catch this buyer. Kai turned to look but was simply taken aback. This man is the one wanted on the A-list, the gambler Lero. After the auction, Kai and Kay decided to change Lero's path. Wow, they were staring at him the whole time, and now they even started chasing him. Let it be so, he was waiting for their meeting. Kai wondered what kind of aura this was. As if one wrong move and he would be crushed into dust. The old man decided to introduce himself. His name is Lero. Kai told Kea to be careful. She is an NPC, so she can't see the old man's level and understand the danger of the situation. This man is a real level 102 monster. Lero told Mose that this was truly a historic moment. Kea asked if the hero knew this man. Yes, it was he who sold him the artifact in Lindurk. But Kai was surprised that the old man remembered him. Lero came close to the hero, saying that of course their meeting was predetermined by fate. How did he move so fast? Kea pounced on Lero. She doesn't know what kind of fateful meeting they're having there, but she won't just stand and watch. She is Kea, a swordswoman from Aspergen, and her sword will help to find out the truth. However, in an instant, Lero overtook her and approached Mose again to show him something. The man snapped his finger and he and the hero disappeared. They found themselves in some kind of black space. Kai asked tensely what it was. Lero said that Mose's friend wouldn't find them now. That place wasn't really suitable, and the old man wanted to talk face to face. The man laughed at how the immortal Mose was scared. Lero laughed and said that he was worth fearing. During that lottery, he chose more than 1,000 immortals. But why did they all rush to sell the artifacts without even trying them out properly? But Mose was not one of them. So Lero came up with a plan just for him. Kai asked what it was all about. The old man said to remember, before he became a swordsman. Was the encounter with Giratina really a coincidence? Why was that man's mission in Fallup to capture Lero? Does Mose really think it's a coincidence that they ended up at Bin Caravan together outside of his mission? It seems our hero considers himself lucky. Lero has calculated everything in advance. Kai can't believe it, why? So it's not luck, but Lero's plan. The hero fell to the ground, dropped his sword and asked what was going on. Lero just wants to conquer this world with the hands of immortals. He encourages Mose to give in to his anger. Bring it down on the Empire, he can do it. The old man says that Mose will rule the world. Plus, it will help him avenge the Lero family on those dirty bastards who took it from him. The old man tells the hero to kill everyone who wears a golden crown. Everything is in his hands, and Lero chose him to do it. So Lero was a man who hated the world that had deprived him of his family. He got angry at everyone, and now he wants revenge. And Kea? Is meeting her part of his plan too? Kai stood up and replied that the decision to become a swordsman was his own, as well as the desire to train for this purpose. Although, of course, he is grateful to Lero. The pendant he received from him gave the hero a future. But now Kai makes choices according to his desires. A quest battle has appeared. Defeat the gambler Lero. The reward is a hidden ability. And Kai began to attack the old man. But Lero leaned back and some kind of black smoke appeared around him. Lero chuckled and asked if Mose was scared. That was his power, and it was limitless. The old man can give it to the hero if he wants. Lero gave Kai one last chance. Join him or die. The old man with wild eyes looked at the hero and demanded to choose. Kai said he doesn't choose anything. Lero can't understand why. Everyone would bow their heads before him if he accepted the offer. Why would Mose refuse? He will kill these vile minions of the Empire, and the whole world will be at his feet. Sorry to disappoint Lero, but Kai doesn't need it. If so, then nothing can be done. I'll have to kill him with my own hands. Well, Kai wished the old man good luck, I guess. The hero tried to hit Lyro with his sword, but then intercepted it with his bare hand. The old man knows that the immortals are different from them. They see and know what is inaccessible to others. And Lero knows that they, like Mose, came from their own world. The old man had to sell his soul to the devil for knowledge about them. Mose came here to have fun and find meaning in his continued existence, didn't he? And Lero gave him all this. New strength, dreams and meaning, entertainment and pleasure. So the old man asks why the hero refuses. In his world, Mose seeks only fun and pleasure. He doesn't care what's going on around him. Yes, Kai replied that it was true. He came here for the money, like many others. But thanks to Lyro, he gained incredible power and with its help was able to get to know this world better. The hero traveled across the continent, visited many places, and now understands well how much beauty and unexplored there is here. Lindurk, Aspargan, Langaru, and of course Bin Caravan. Kai's heart beat with joy every time he found himself in a new place. The hero. Lyro's gratitude knows no bounds, and he understands what the old man feels. The man looked at Mose with hope, but he only asked for forgiveness. He cannot fulfill Lyro's wish and will not destroy this world. Kai doesn't know too much and thinks that the old man himself doesn't want to destroy everything here. Therefore, the hero decided to take Lyro's pain and bear this heavy burden himself. The old man laughed hysterically. Is Mose really trying to say that he, who has dreamed of revenge for years, doesn't want to see the end of this world? Lero pounced, asking how our hero could spout such nonsense. Okay, if Mose doesn't want to listen to him, then finish him off here and now. Kai's health level was rapidly declining, and so his health was less than a third, but he held Lyro back with all his might. Let him see. Here is his hatred and revenge. The old man dealt the hero another strong blow, leaving only 10% of his health. Kai doesn't understand what's happening. He can't even strike back. But if he doesn't stop him now, Lyro will fall into an endless cycle of destructive desires. This cannot be allowed. Kai had to think of something. At that very moment, the effect of the Atoria brand was activated. It's time to try out the new skill, Destructive Flame, Solar Storm. The damage from burning will be incredible. The hero thrust his sword into the ground and began to burn Lyro. He was lost in memories. His wife and children were cruel, vile soldiers of the Empire. He would never forgive them. Lero stole, collected jewelry, sharpened his sword, and in the end he took revenge on them. But his hands were covered in blood. The boy was choking with tears and begged Lero not to kill him like his dad. The old man nervously said that it was not his fault. It was all them, the Imperial rats, and he had done nothing wrong. It was already clear to Lero that he had done wrong, but it was already impossible to fix anything. And even though a lot of time has passed since those events, I still thank Mose for stopping me. Perhaps deep down, the old man regretted that he had not acted differently then. Lero asked the hero for forgiveness and said goodbye, after which he disappeared into thin air. Lyro, you have atoned for your guilt, although unintentionally. Kai will always remember him. Finally, the darkness cleared and Kia ran to her comrade. The hero received the hidden trait Lucky Destroyer. So, he got it after the fight with Lero, and it opened up 2 skills for him. Lucky Destruction, which allows you to encase objects found in the ruins of ancient dungeons in a sphere. And Baneman's Unification, which allows you to store the sphere in your inventory and also combine them. Lyro probably used this skill when he gave out items to players. It seems like he left it to Kai as a legacy. Now the hero intends to act in such a way that such unfortunate people as Lero no longer appear here. After talking with him, it became clear that in this virtual world, those whom we call NPCs, they have human feelings such as anger or sympathy, which means they are the same people as the players. They exist on par with those NPCs that simply follow software algorithms, but are noticeably different from them. So can we then consider the scheme just a game? It is more like a parallel reality. Kia came over and asked if Mose was okay. She also asked him what he would do on vacation. Kai doesn't even know, he has no plans. He asked where she was going. Kia wants to go to her family's home. She comes from a small village in Azerus. The girl told Mose to come over sometime, she would be waiting, and Kai returned to the capital of Aspargan. Phew, I'm not in the mood at all. After saying goodbye to Kea, he realized it was time to rest. Suddenly, someone called on the sphere. Kai took it out of his pocket. Sharon was glad that he finally answered. The girl asked how Mose was doing. That same evening, the old company met at the bar. It's been a while since we last saw each other, since that troll hunt. Sharon asked what Mose had been doing that made him famous throughout the game. Kai modestly replied that he worked part-time here and there. He showed up in a lot of places, and that's what people started talking about him. Well, then the younger brother will tell you what happened to him during this time. Gale took out his hand and showed it. He and the girl received paired magic rings. So, he has a girlfriend, Kai congratulated him. Sharon had heard that she was an elf. Guile had certainly raised the bar. Kai almost threw up his beer when he heard that. Gale asked what was wrong with that. The hero hears for the first time that someone is meeting with an NPC. But if you remember the conversation with Lero, those who would trade reality for this game, they do not differentiate between NPCs and real people. But for now, Kai sees that people, like him, are surprised by Guile's words. Although it is difficult for the hero personally to decide for himself how to perceive such a thing. Guile addressed Mr. Mose. But that sounds weird. The guy just asked for Mose. He didn't do anything special back then, but thanks to our hero, he was able to pay for his college education. Gale was having a hard time with money back then, both in the scheme and in his everyday life, but things are much better now. So the boy turned around and thanked Kai sincerely. The hero asked what he was saying. If it weren't for Gala with them, they wouldn't have saved their wounded uncle and gotten out of that trap. So, thanks to him. Honestly, Sharon says that such meetings are only possible thanks to Mose. If it weren't for him, they would all have fallen victim to the intrigues of the vile Silborn. Jim had heard of people who had suffered because of people like that. Everyone quit the game after that. And the guys also defeated the boss, so without Mose, nothing would have happened. The chance Lero gave Kai affected other people too. And by the way, Sharon told him she was quitting. Jim knew it would end like this. The work wasn't very good, so I decided to focus on the scheme. It will earn me some money. Oh yeah, Sharon wants to show off something and opened her inventory. The girl showed a cool bow that she bought herself. It's one of the rare ones. How long did Sharon search for him? Wow, that's really commendable. Kai knows how much suffering it takes to earn such an artifact. Gale, Sharon, both had normal jobs. What about Kai? Even though he tried hard, ever since he received the Florent Star, he has just been lucky. He obtained both high-level artifacts and skills more easily than the others. Instead of growing on his own, Kai relied on luck and on Lero's help. The hero realized that he took everything for granted, but he tried before, asked to give him a chance, promised himself that he would enjoy the game, like Guile and Sharon. And what does he end up doing? Kai should go back to the beginning and give it his all. Kai looked up and told the guys that they hadn't seen each other for so long, so he suggested doing some quests together. At that time, the hero did not yet know how this venture would turn out. The boys found themselves inside a huge cave. Gale was horrified. He didn't think it would turn out like this. There were too many monsters. In the Damont mountain mine, you need to destroy 1,500 monitor lizards and one secret boss. A colony of monsters has been discovered in the largest mine on the Aspargan continent. The mine is at risk of collapsing due to the colony's rapid expansion. We must hurry to destroy it. The quest level is B+, and the reward is 5,500 gold, and bonuses from the Lord of the Damned Fortress. Monitor lizards, then. While they were driving, Kai asked if any of the guys knew about these creatures. Guile found a book that said they belong to a family of deep mountain monsters. They live in packs, which can be up to 100 individuals, 100 in a pack, and they need to destroy an entire colony. Strange. Sharon said that if the quest has a wyvern class, then there will be more than 500 monsters. Someone else has to be in charge of the colony. If the guys get rid of the leader, the remaining individuals will not pose a threat. Jim said Mose was right. Usually the leader is in the rear, watching the battle. To lure him out, you can take control of the key zones for the colony's life. Then Gale suggested defining roles. Sharon will go to the top of the mountain and find traces of the colony. Since Guile has magic at his disposal, he will help Mose in the fight, and Jim will cover them with a shield. Kai didn't understand why everyone was so concerned about him. Sharon replied with a smile that he was the foundation of the team. Guile knows that this may not be easy for Mose, but with this plan, their chances of winning are the highest. They are counting on our hero. Kai smiled and then confidently agreed. Taking the glowing ball, the boys began to descend into the mine. Sharon walked ahead. She stopped everyone abruptly. Some sounds were heard from below. Jim thinks they're there. However, Gale noticed that the road ended at this point, and beyond that there was a cliff. Jim told everyone to be careful and not to fall. Gale remained standing by the wall when suddenly a large monitor lizard crawled out through the hole onto him. Kai immediately blocked the monster with his sword. Gale is fine, but dozens of red eyes can be seen in the darkness of the mine. The hero said that there were too many of them. More than 1,500 monitor lizards needed to be destroyed. Gale told everyone to rush to their positions as agreed. However, the monsters surrounded him and began to hiss. Jim quickly hit the monitor lizards with his shield and told Gale to back off. What creatures? There were too many of them. Kai said that they have a shitty position. The guys can't line up as planned. Sharon tried to shoot back as best she could, but if they blocked her, they would no longer be able to save her. She stayed behind the column of monsters. Kai shouted for her to quickly go to them. In the meantime, the hero will take the blow upon himself. Sharon managed to quickly slip through the column of monsters and join his comrades. It would take a long time to kill them. Gale was panicking, mumbling, and Sharon shouted at him to get it together right now. However, how can one be calm if there are so many monitor lizards? Gale screams that the plan has failed and they have nowhere to retreat. Was he really suggesting that they give up? Sharon replied that they should at least try. Jim agrees with her, you can't just give up. And the boys haven't seen the leader of the monitor lizards yet. They should at least find out what he's like. What can Kai do? Try to fight his way through the crowd? No, he'll take too much damage. However, by this time, the hero had just destroyed 100 monsters and the effect of the Brand of Atoria was activated. Now we can use the Solar Storm. What timing? Jim will protect Sharon as much as possible, so he tells her to try to break through. But then Kai stopped them. He would do everything, and Uncle had to hold the shield tightly. A whole flock of monitor lizards rushed towards Mose. But then, right before the boys' eyes, a powerful explosion occurred. And from the flames came Kai, standing firmly on his feet, surrounded by hundreds of corpses. He told the boys to act. Almost a third of the monsters have already been killed. Our hero was killing monsters at a rapid pace. The boys watched him in amazement. Sharon knew that Mose was strong, but not to this extent. Without batting an eyelid, he took down an entire crowd. It's simply unbelievable. A whole 1,000 monsters were killed in a matter of seconds. Mose asked if the boys were okay. So far, so good. Now we need to finish off the rest. The whole team confidently moved forward, and they managed to stop the attack of the monitor lizards. Kai is directly remembering the old money. Oh, what nostalgia. Suddenly, the guys got a notification that there was one mysterious mob left. Finally, the boss. But where is he? And then Sharon said to look deeper. A hunchbacked man crawled out of the gorge. The guys are shocked that the boss is a man. And the guy came up to Mose, pointed his finger and said that his arms and legs are normal. The man said he was a fallen man. He had everything like the boys, but he fell. Kai asked what it meant, but didn't understand anything. The man showed that he had a hunchback, so he was a fallen man. Mom threw the hunchback off the cliff. Jim was just furious. This is inhumane. Kai asked if there were other people like the hunchback. He said yes, but they had turned into bones and he had not. The boys looked like his mom and dad. The hunchback asked who they would abandon this time. Gale shouted that they didn't come for that, but the hunchback didn't believe him. Mom used to say the same thing, and the guys killed his friends. The monitor lizards took care of the abandoned hunchback, and he taught them to live in peace. The friends said they would fulfill any wish of the boy, and then the hunchback said to destroy the hole. This shocked the boys. Gale shouted that if the guy collapsed the mountain, all the nearby villages would be buried under stones and people would die. But the hunchback replied that there were more bones here than living people in the area. The king of the village throws everyone into the hole, those without arms or legs and those with a hunch. They don't listen, he throws. The king killed the hunchback's mom and dad. Now everything came together. The governor threatened them with death. He forced parents to disown their own children just so the village would look good. So that's why people weren't happy when the guys took on this case. They were more scared. The hunchback shouted that if they interfered in his business, he would be very angry. Regardless of the reward, the boys don't like the idea of deciding who lives and who dies. Surely, this was the first time they had to make such a difficult choice. Kai himself could not imagine that he would face such a dilemma in a regular quest. The hunchback clapped and asked to get rid of the hole. The king and the villagers are putting people's lives at risk, but Jim asks if they have to kill them all. The boys ask if there is another way. Jim suggested another way, to try to talk peacefully with the hunchback. Kai sat down next to the guy and asked for forgiveness for killing his friends. They had to. The monitor lizards attacked the guys. But the hunchback must not get rid of the hole. If he did, the village would collapse and Mom would die. The boy stamped his foot and said that he did not want her to die. Kai promised that they would deal with the bad king and then people like the guy wouldn't be thrown here. The hunchback's eyes lit up. He doesn't want anyone to turn into bones again and his friends to be sad because of the dead. Then Kai said that the hunchback and them should leave here. Having left the mountain, he will be able to help other sad fallen children. Yes, the hunchback will help other people and our heroes will punish this king. The hunchback extended his little finger and said that if Kai promised, then he and the monitor lizards would do as he said. The hero extended his little finger in response and promised. Well, now Kai has an idea. The hero went to the Information Guild in Leadwood, near Mount Demunt, and contacted Leia via orb. Then a little matter came up that he would like to entrust to her. Kai suggested that the guarantor be, for example, the Knight Maxim. The customers who ordered the cleaning were pleasantly surprised that not even a single monitor lizard remained. They really did a great job. The boys were given their honestly earned 6,000 gold pieces and thanked for their work. Since Gale, Sharon, and Jim had finished their business here, they thought about going to Demant Castle. Guile hopes Mose has things under control. 2 hours ago, Jim said he wanted to get the reward for the quest and take revenge on that king who ordered the children to be thrown off the cliff. Sharon was supportive, but Gale was skeptical. So they want to have their cake and eat it too? Jim thought, there must be a way to do this. And then Kai said there was. I'm sure the guys know that the scheme is popular because of the freedom in terms of gameplay. By freedom, Kai means that within the game, any events that players can imagine are possible. The goal of the quest was to destroy all the monitor lizards. Now Jim understood why Mose had told that kid to leave the mine. Right on target. If everything goes according to Kai's plan, the guys can both take revenge and receive a reward for completing the quest. Some people on horses arrived in the village. The villagers whispered that they were from a detachment of knights. There was hope that the king would finally be punished. The girl turned to Laurie, the ruler of the Demant Castle, so that he would now answer for the evil he had committed. Kia just in time. Larry walked out of his castle with a leisurely air. He asked what the noble lady was doing in this god-forsaken place. Suddenly, a man fell to his knees in front of Kea and asked to listen. In the whole wide world, there were no more beautiful eyes than those of his little daughter. But he was threatened with death if he did not throw her off the cliff, simply because she was disabled. The man, sobbing, said that it was the king himself who had threatened. The guy accompanying Kay said that the proof of guilt was simply delivered on a silver platter. The boy took off his hood and it was Kair. He asked the king if everything people said was true. Larry realized that these two were from the Order of the 14 Knights. The king said that he was devoted to his country like no one else. The health of the inhabitants is the foundation of the empire's future. And those who are cursed from birth have no right to walk this earth. Sharon and Jim were simply furious at such cynicism. Larry used his position to solve the problem. And the policy of these lands is not subject to discussion unless the emperor himself intervenes. Really? There's just one problem. That's not why Kair came. He was brought here by some rumors. The Information Guild said that there is a quest for a swordsman, and the essence of it is to take revenge on one lord from the castle. Larry got angry and asked who dared to do this. He ordered the knights to arrest everyone right there and then. The residents screamed in panic that it wasn't them. Kair was furious. He asked what the king was doing. He was hired by the Order of the 14 Knights and serves the shrine itself faithfully. Everything Larry said contradicts her laws. Creatures like him poison this continent without realizing who the real trash is. Larry is outraged that they dare to insult him, the owner of the castle. The king's behavior is starting to irritate. Kair told Larry to take a closer look at who is standing in front of him, but Kair suddenly calmed down and smiled sweetly. Since this was not his task, he would not interfere. At that moment, Larry was enveloped in some white waves, and in a moment it became clear that Kia had cut off his head. People cried with happiness, shouting that they were saved and thanking the glorious knight. The boys received a notification that the task was completed. Mose was right, although they doubted it. Quests really can be completed this way. Suddenly, Sharan told the hero to look. She found a piece of paper in the mine. It seems that the guy left it for Mose. The hunchback wrote a letter to his dear fire friend. He thanked Mose, and as he had promised, he left with his friends. The guy said to head to a specific point. There's a big ship there, but he doesn't know what's inside. He's afraid to go in, but Mose can. Suddenly, Kea called the hero. He can't even imagine how long it took her to get here, and the journey wasn't easy. The girl says that one must also have some kind of conscience. But Kai just smiled good-naturedly, saying that he missed him. They hadn't seen each other for a long time. All the guys gathered at the bar to chat. That is, Mose needed an assistant in this matter and he immediately thought of Kay. Suddenly, Sharan asked the girl who she was to our hero. Kia hesitated, then said that, in short, they were probably colleagues. Kai felt like he'd been hit on the head, and the girl smiled, adding that that's what the immortals would call it. Jim tells Kai to get ready. The hero thought they were more than just colleagues, but whatever. Kai still needed to find that ship before leaving the location. A little later, he went down into the mine. It had become quieter here. I wonder if it was because the monitor lizards were leaving? But somehow Kai doubted that the place mentioned in the letter was even here. But there was no hint of a ship. And then a huge frigate emerged from the water. The ruins of the Ship of the Heavenly Ruler were discovered. Kai has the ability to use the Lucky Destroyer skill and turn the ship into a core. What a question, of course, yes. The hero now has a legendary rank vehicle in his hands. The power and speed are simply enormous, and the maximum number of passengers is 850. Suddenly, someone came to the mine to Kai, saying that they had met again for the umpteenth time. Kai is surprised and intrigued. It's the first time he's seen an immortal so often. Kai didn't think that the master would be here too. Well, Kyer said that Demant Castle was of interest to both of them. The hero assumed that the master would probably blame the king for the murder of Kaya. Kaya replied that she had not. However, according to the code of the Order of the 14 Knights, she had broken the law. Well, the guy replied that the order really does operate according to established principles, and what Kai said is true, but the hero only needs to know that Hare is the same person as Mose. The hero was simply shocked. The guy added that Kai did everything right. Kai hates those who torture and keep people in fear. Therefore, he wants to express his gratitude to him and that young swordswoman. That was all, and the guy left. And Kai was left alone to digest what he had just heard. In the morning, Kia said that the last couple of mugs yesterday were unnecessary. Well, that's obvious. But at least she made new friends. Kai is glad to hear that she considers them as such. Kaya told him that she likes immortals. They have no prejudices about this world. They treat her as a human and do not care that she's half-elf. That's why she likes Mose. It's almost lunchtime, so Kia said to drown. So the guys asked what the hero's plans were. Kai replied that he was thinking of finding a new quest and invited his friends to join. Jim and Gale immediately agreed. With Mose, they were afraid of nothing. Sharon asked what Gale was doing. Let him earn his own fame. She seemed delighted. Then go ahead. Kia asked where the boys would go this time. Kai hadn't thought about it yet. Maybe they would return to Aspergen. The girl sighed sadly. It was obvious that she was despondent. But then Kai extended his hand and invited her to go with them. Kia smiled and replied that she would be happy to. Kai put the boys on his new luxury ship. The furniture is simply luxurious. Kia asked where he got the ship from. Kai replied that it just happened somehow. And then she looked back and asked who it was. Oh, Kai forgot to introduce Elsha, the fairy of the sparkling tree. She is the guardian spirit and the foundation of this ship. Elsha greeted and said that she controls the ship under the orders of her new master Mose. Soon they will reach their destination, the continent of Aspergen. Kai is shocked. They just boarded and already arrived. As Kia left the ship, she asked if the secret wizard of the White Fortress was Mose or something like that. Kai replied that no, of course not, and told them to follow him. They were going to the Information Guild. However, there was some kind of indignant crowd standing near the entrance. Kai made his way through the people and asked what had happened. The employee offers his deepest apologies and is forced to deliver some bad news. All the branches of the Information Guild on the continent closed. What do you mean all the offices in Aspargen at once? The guys asked what happened. Suddenly, a guy ran up to the crowd and told everyone to run to the square immediately. This is not a good sign. People ran, wondering what it could be. Maybe a mukbang on Schema TV. But the corpses on the screen were as if they were real. Someone said that if it was a prank, it was a shitty one. What the hell is going on? The guy on the screen said that the scheme is under their control. Immortals can't stop broadcasting on their own. It seems like the NPCs are saying that. The boy addresses the immortals. As predicted, the immortals have come to their lands. But who allowed them? The sun goddess Bellica or Bellis, the moon goddess? No, the immortals entered this world without permission. Nobody likes their presence because the immortals have invaded the world to destroy, loot, and deceive NPCs. Did they really think that NPCs would just stand by and watch? Let them see. In a moment, the lives of several invaders will be cut short, but they will not be able to return to their world. It's a terrible sight. These are innocent people. Lidorn, Prince of Logis, has addressed the immortals. He declares war on humans. A new quest. Prince of Rebellion has been activated. Lidorn has decided to confront that part of the immortals who continue to commit atrocities in the world of schemes. After Prince Lidorn's appearance yesterday, panic began on the game's forums. Some players took it as a normal event. However, there were those who were concerned about the AI's too high intelligence. On the forums, many users expressed words of support for the channel Schema TV. From time to time, posts appeared in which players expressed sympathy for Lidorn. Soon, many began looking for teams to join the quest. In no time, nearly 1 million players rallied to fight back against Lidorn's tyranny. Kai was flying on his ship, looking out the window and thinking. Kia approached him with a cup of tea from the kaffir leaves that she had prepared. The hero asked what she thought about the whole situation. Kia said she didn't have any particular thoughts. She was just surprised, probably because she has been at war since birth. Whether it is a war with fate, so that her parents do not abandon her, or a war with wolves to avoid becoming their prey. A slave's desperate fight for her survival, or a war against those who laugh at Kia because she is a mixed blood. That's the kind of war she's talking about. Ki had to protect herself all her life, so other people's squabbles were always left out. Kai thought he should apologize, but the girl said it was okay. Now it seemed like a distant past. One magician once said that their world is unstable. Passages between dimensions are constantly opening and closing. Every race that is not of this world came from another reality. And elves are one of those races. Wow, Kai didn't know that. At first, many attacked them and persecuted them. However, in our days, the two civilizations have finally found a common language. Although half-breeds are still treated with disdain, discrimination has not completely disappeared. But now there are immortals like Moes, bright and brave personalities. Sometimes they cause some trouble, but that's human nature. The truth is that civilizations developed thanks to them. Many locals loved the immortals. Kai asked what Kia personally thought of them. As she said, she liked the immortals. They don't call her half-breed, half-human, or half-elf. To them, she's just Kia. And Moes is one of them. I wonder what would happen if everyone looked at the world the way Moes and his friends do. Some do not understand and do not accept players. For example, Lidorn. Kai thinks, and he has his own motives. It's always hard to watch someone else's grief and suffering. But the method of struggle he chose harms the innocent. And the problems don't get any less. Ultimately, it doesn't matter what drives him. It can't be that way. And Kai will put an end to this. Somewhere on the other side of the game world, an entire army of players and NPCs was destroyed in the blink of an eye. Is it even possible to defeat Lidorn? And he told his Black Griffin cavalry to advance. Schema TV announced a grandiose event in the game. They received a message that the guild Rampage of Rose, which was the first to head to the event battle, it was completely destroyed. Immediately after the battle, Prince Lidorn sent his cavalry to besiege the castles of Toika and Magus. The situation is getting worse. Yes, Kai says they should join in and help them. Plans to join the fight right now. How else? The hero has to do something too. He asked, what about the guys? He's not going to force anyone. Let them decide for themselves. But you have to understand that it's very dangerous there. Jim and Guile looked at each other and said they would like to join. Kai was really surprised. It was obvious that he was much stronger than any of the guys. And if he leads their squad, the guys will follow him. Sharon agrees. Their team of 13 needs a leader. No one can do it better than Moes. Kai began to say that he was not at all the kind of person who could command them. And then Kia looked at him menacingly and the hero fell silent. He took a deep breath and his voice changed. The situation is getting worse with every passing second. If the boys really believe in Moes, then let them become his comrades in this fight. Jim, Sharon, and Gale replied that they had nothing to fear with our hero and would follow him to the ends of the earth. Kia, the swordsman Aspargan, promises to help our hero until the very end. Kai thanked each of the guys. He promises that he will always move forward. Let them trust him and follow him. Players have 20 tank warriors left on the battlefield and 10 of them have low health. Damn, people don't understand how they can stop Lidorn at all. The King Tiger contacted the warriors. Most of the fighters were killed. He asked how the boys were doing. Same thing, almost no one left. They can't fight anymore. We need to join forces. Their detachment is now on the riverbank near the plain. Okay, the guy said they're moving forward. However, on the other hand, the NPC army is here again. They got here so quickly. The commander shouts to the warriors to run to the plain to join the others. In the meantime, he will try to buy time. One of the NPC fighters appeared next to the guy in a second and was about to pierce his body. It looks like this is the end. But then suddenly, a certain magician killed all the enemies and told Atru, Cage, and Rano to go to the others. This is the same player who was the first to enter the White Tower. Third in the official ranking of magicians, Kellyon. The player commander is furious. Are these guys really saying that an army of almost 1,000 users and NPCs was wiped out? But can he see that this isn't just an enemy NPC army? It was lucky that the guys survived it all and were able to get out of there. But the man screamed that their guild had been destroyed. What were the guys doing while they were being killed on the front lines? Kellyon said to stop arguing. Now is not the time. We must quickly build a camp and fortify ourselves for defense. But suddenly they heard loud sounds. They are advancing. The commander ordered all tanks to form the first line of defense and the long-range tanks to retreat immediately. Hurry up or decided to die here. Cast a spell on the tanks. Kellyon watched all this fuss. He looked at the huge enemy army and wondered if they could stand firm. Lidor asked forgiveness from his loyal comrades. They followed him, renouncing their country, their throne, their honor. Their loyalty to him is such that even the great sun goddess cannot eclipse her. Lidor foolishly entrusted his soul to the mistress Aina. He told the knights who were following the angry prince to go forward. If he can take even a part of the enemy's dishonor with him to hell, then he is ready to die even 100 times. Lidor ordered the black griffins to spread their wings. Damn it, Kellyon's strength is running out. It's getting harder to fight. If this continues, the players will be destroyed. What to do? Suddenly, the player Elsha asked Kellyon for a mana source. The requested amount is 1,000. What kind of player is he who asked for so much? How strong is he? Although it doesn't matter now, the guy pressed the yes button. A huge ship was visible in the sky, from which cannons were opened. Elsha has started activating the light shower with a maximum reach of 1,171 people. She opened fire on all enemies from the air. Players shout to their teammates to attack while the enemy is confused. The doors of the ship opened and Kai told everyone that it was time to move out. They were to go against Prince Lidor. A huge beam of light fell on the earth. The boys descended from the ship and Mose ordered everyone to go into battle. Jim said he would hold them back and let Mose move forward. An NPC swung at our hero, but someone immediately burned the enemy's hand. Kellyon thanked the guys. Thanks to them, he escaped death. The guy introduced himself. The mage didn't know there was a player with such a huge flying ship. Kellyon helped the hero up and Kai also introduced himself. Kia shouted that now was not the time for pleasantries. The guys agreed they will talk later. Kai started attacking the NPCs, but they are incredibly fast. It's not as simple as the hero thought. These bastards are strong. Each of them is equal in strength to a small detachment of ordinary warriors. In that case, Kai used Atoria's sword and burned many enemies in his path. However, fighting off the others from all sides is quite problematic. Kia covered Kai. He asked if she was okay. The hero told the girl not to worry. He would protect her. No way, Kia can handle it herself. She advised Mose to take better care of himself. Okay, then there is something he can do. And now, at last, they met Lidor face to face. Lidor jumped off the cliff and started attacking our hero. Kai won't be able to hold out for long. The hero loosened his grip and the prince immediately hit him in the stomach. The dizziness effect was applied to Kai. Everything was swimming. Lidor swung at the hero, wanting him to die. No, don't even dream about it. Jim quickly stepped in and covered his comrade with his shield. Decided to stand in the prince's way, very presumptuous. Do the guys know why Lidor is called the White Wolf of Logis? Because those who decide to oppose him always die from his wolf fangs. And then, out of nowhere, a sword appeared from the portal behind him and pierced Jim's body. With one blow, how it hurts him. Apparently, he was the first one to leave Mose. And after these words, the guy disappeared. Lidor looked menacingly at Kai and said that he was next. The hero went berserk. He activated the effect of Atoria's set, the skill Solar Fury. Health is absorbed at a rate of 3 units per second. The player will die when the bar runs out. Kai will kill the prince with his own hands. Kai pounced on him with fury. Health was absorbed, and speed and strength grew more and more. Lidor realized that his opponent was getting stronger with every second. Kai managed to break through the prince's block and throw him back. Apparently, immortals also have feelings and the death of a comrade affects them. Kai ran and shouted for the guy to shut his mouth. Lidorn said that the deceased was also immortal. What a tragedy for him. Kai can't even imagine what happened to the princess when he was forced to say goodbye forever. Lidorn hit the hero with even greater anger. Impossible. He was strong before, but now he was just brutal. The prince's level was rising with every second. He shouted that immortal killers had no right to walk this earth. Let the player look death in the eye. Lidorn carries the sword of vengeance and has come to punish. Kai was distracted and a blade was thrust into his shoulder from behind. Lidorn said that immortals are not the masters of this world. Do they really think they can do whatever they want? Who gave them the right to control the lives of those dear to the prince? Shirin and Guile had almost reached Mose, and then Lidorn saw that our hero also had someone close. Kai immediately shouted for the guys to run. However, before they could do anything, Gala also suffered a sad fate. Lidorn wants Kai to feel his own powerlessness as he kills people dear to his heart. The hero demanded to stop, but another blade was already ready to pierce Shiran's body. Kellyan appeared out of nowhere and covered the girl with his body. Before Kai had time to turn around, only the sword remained in that place, and the guys had disappeared somewhere. Suddenly, it started to rain. Not the best moment, of course. Kia saw off to the side that Mose had met with Lidorn. The hero asks the prince to stop. Enough. But he only coldly called the immortals selfish hypocrites. Real monsters who profit from Bellica's blessing. The sorrow they experience as immortals is dust, a mirage, a self-deception, because it only lasts a few days. Then they return to the world of the game, to the world of the inhabitants. But the flame of life of Lidorn's beloved Ain was extinguished forever because of the likes of Kai. These people always came back and the prince always killed them. And do you know what they said one day? Enough, I'm tired of playing. That's it. Everything that happens here is just a game for the immortals. Endless quests to capture territory, fighting with raiding. Pathetic fun. Kai fell to his knees and nervously denied. Solar Fury deactivated. Lidorn shouts that yes, not all players are like that. However, those who break the laws and commit chaos are the immortals, always them. People who don't want to take responsibility, so the prince came to solve this problem once and for all. Does Kai still think he has the right to stop him? Is he strong enough? What can he do to counter Lidorn's wrath? The hero must admit that the prince is right. But he cannot retreat. For those who fight with all their might, Kai is the only one who can defeat him. Even if Solar Fury doesn't work, the hero will manage to put an end to it. Lidorn pounced and exposed a weak spot. Kai wanted to strike there, but it was a trap. The sword was already waiting for him behind his back. Hurry, because death has already opened its arms. The sword cut Kai's shoulder. Massive damage. Only 20% health left. Is Mose really going to die like this? But suddenly he heard a familiar voice. It was Kea, who was running headlong towards him. Lidorn was stunned when he saw that she was not an immortal. Kai shouted for her to leave, and the prince asked if she knew this immortal. Kea replied that she was. Then Lidorn asked if she was willing to sacrifice her only life for the sake of some player. The girl answered without hesitation that, of course, she was ready. This man was dear to her. It doesn't matter that he's immortal. Kea can't let his eyes close for even a second, and she is ready to die for this man. She does not care that he is different. He had no right to object to Lidorn's desire to achieve his goal because he had made his decision. Can judge her. The prince said that this meant she had accepted death. A sword hung over Kea. Kai instantly threw his blade and blocked the blow right above the girl's head. Lidorn was furious and swung at the hero, but Kai summoned a charm and it appeared, piercing the prince's body. That's all. Did the immortal decide that this was the end? Lidorn was just a spark that would start a great fire. His mission is complete. Others will take his place and rekindle the flames of war. These were Lidorn's last words, after which he fell to the ground and closed his eyes forever. The quest, Prince of Rebellion, is complete. Kai has gained several new levels. He ran up to Kay and started shouting, asking why she was risking herself like that. What would he do if she died? Kea took Mose's face and replied that it was necessary. Kai hugged Kay tightly and asked her to never do that again. The girl offered to pray for the prince. The tragic story of Lidorn changed a lot in the world of the scheme. In the kingdom of Logis and its surroundings, the Litter Knights have appeared, a group of NPCs hostile to players. They decided to continue Lidorn's work and innocent players suffered again. The White Tower soon instituted brand magic. This brand allowed both NPCs and regular players to accurately identify trolls. The Information Guild has set a bounty on the heads of such individuals. Some players and NPCs have begun calling themselves troll hunters and looking for the marked. The hunt for internet trolls in virtual reality has begun, and Mose has become the subject of serious controversy. Because of the ship, he was considered a heavenly ruler. Now Kai can hardly move without attracting attention. It's good that people were still pacified by the debates about whether Mose was an NPC or not. However, if the hero is unlucky, everything will turn out so that you can forget about calm travels. After Lidorn's death, it was hard on the Grey Ones. Kia tried to calm Kai down, and eventually it worked. She suggested that he take a vacation and go to her homeland. So now the guys are on their way to her hometown of Azerus. Elsha reported that the preparations for the training are complete. The interior walls of the lower floor were further strengthened with magic. Kai put on his gloves and thanked them. First, he summoned a charm into his left hand, and in his right hand he will take another engraved sword. Kai received it after defeating Lidorn. Karma. Lidorn killed the hero's comrades with this sword. Once the engraving is complete, the sword automatically appears in the player's dominant hand. With the acquisition of Karma, Kai learned a new skill for 2 engraved swords at once. All skills of the engraving summoning type are changed to will summoning. Learn the active skill Go. This skill allows the hero to direct swords to a selected target using runes. So now he can use long-range techniques, which is very convenient. Needless to say, the attack power has increased significantly, but there is a nuance. You need to catch 2 swords at once. Sharma Kai caught without much difficulty. And then Karma, albeit with difficulty. Kai was happy at first, but then fell to the floor. Damn him, he can't handle 2 yet. That's bad. The hero won't be able to protect anyone. And like a fool, he will stand and watch the death of people dear to him. At this rate, Kai will lose them all. He needs to train more, he can't stop. The hero will try until he succeeds. He won't budge. Finally, the training is over. It's very difficult. Kai can barely catch 1 sword and he has 2. Kia was already waiting for him at the exit. She told Kai to look at himself, all dirty, and gave him clothes. It was a rare linen shirt of Azerus. Kia asked to put it on after Mose had cleaned herself up. These are clothes from her hometown. The guys are going to her place, so it's worth dressing up. Kai thanked him, then he will do it right now. But he could not shake the thought that he had to become stronger in order to protect his loved ones. A certain director asked his subordinate if he had brought everything. Yes, the man received it only today, still warm. That's it, a completely different matter. The director was holding a certain ball in his hands. That's why he can't stop playing. Finally, the guys arrived in the free city of Azerus. Kai was shocked that it was so huge. Yes, Kea is proud of its hometown. The White Tower, the alchemists of Ruza, the secret servants of the Empire. It is said that in the past they all conducted experiments here without any restrictions, after which this place turned into a lifeless wasteland where nothing grows. However, Gyza, the wisest of the elves, blessed this land by sacrificing his soul, and thus the free city of Azerus was born. Kai asked why free. Kia replied that they simply had no definite ruler. The hero was surprised and asked who was dealing with the criminals then. The girl answered, the conglomerate. Representatives of each race gather for discussion. These representatives are called Azerus elders. Therefore, in the city, Moose can hear many different opinions from different races and on a variety of issues. How interesting. Not long ago, this game was Kai's chance to make ends meet. He went through many hardships, found new friends, and even completed a team quest for the first time. During his journey, he managed to join the ranks of the swordsmen. As both Mose and Kai, the hero is fortunate to begin building relationships with wonderful people. That's why he made an important decision in his final battle with Lidorn. It is Kai's duty to protect those dear to him. Kia asked what he was thinking about. The hero smiled and waved it off. Nonsense. Great, then she took his hand and led him along. Kea has so many things she wants to show Kai. Looking at her smile, the hero swore to protect Kei no matter what it cost him. They decided to take a little rest and had a drink at a local bar. And then a short man named Lorad approached Kea. How many years had they not seen each other? What a meeting! The girl introduced her friend to Mose. Although he is short in stature, his ears are definitely the largest in all of Azerus. And what a voice he has, it's not out of tune at all. Lorad and Kai shook hands, and the hero also introduced himself. The man noticed the swordsman's seal on the hero's finger, which meant he was one of them. Lorad asked what Moza had brought to Azerus. Kia replied that they were not there for work, they were on vacation. The man apologized, but everything was fine. Many people think that swordsmen come to stir up troubles, so Lorad thought that they were here for that very reason. Kia asked what he was talking about, and then Lorad took out some kind of ball. The guys thought it was a marble or medicine. However, the man said that this thing is called vanitic, a new drug that is absorbed through the skin. It's easy to get in Azerus. Even children can easily find a dose. But Kay knows that the elders of the city have banned drugs. They couldn't allow it. Lorad began to tell. The guys should already know that many immortals arrived in Azerus, and the city began to develop thanks to the construction of new factories, and everything was fine. However, Lorad doesn't know when it happened, but Venetic started being sold in every bar. And those behind this entered the bar. The man said that these Venetic traders have their own guild and a giant potion factory. The locals assume that this is where the drug is produced. Kai immediately realized that these people are players, and their guild is called Pickup Artists. This evening there was a party in one of their clubs. The director asked who was on the night shift tonight. The worker answered tensely that there were 3 half-elves and 6 limps. The director was angry that there were only 3 half-elves. He said that he needed at least 5. The workers tried to calm the boss down. One of them said that it seemed that today's guests had come from Valum. Okay, half-elves from Valum are still okay. Okay, the director will take them for the night. He ordered to bring them here and make sure there is not a scratch on them. The worker left, and the head of the pickup artists slipped into the director's office. He asked if the director had already decided. Well, yesterday I saw something interesting at the bar. Half-elf in the company of a strange player. The director immediately became interested and asked if there was a photo. The man showed a photo of Kai with Kia. The director was delighted. This is exactly what he wanted. He ordered her to be brought quickly. Kia prepared some Azar-style stewed rudo for our hero. Kai was pleasantly surprised that she had prepared it especially for him. And it's so delicious, too. Kia said that her friends Shara and Farah would be arriving soon and she wanted to introduce them. Suddenly, Lorad burst into the room screaming. Kai spat out all the food in fear and asked what had happened. The man replied that something terrible had happened and told him to get ready quickly. They ran to the hospital where the doctors were horrified. They couldn't understand what kind of poisoning it was. Poor Farah was convulsing, begging for Venetic to be given to her immediately. Kai began to examine the strange marks on her neck. Kia screams and asks Lorad what's going on here. Asks him to say at least something. And then he answered with sadness in his head that these two were forced to take drugs from those guys. Damn pickup artists, that's definitely them. Not only did they start distributing the drug throughout the city, but they also forced Kay's friends to take it. There is no forgiveness for this. No one and nothing is worth her tears. Kai said that those who did this to her friends will receive the punishment they deserve, and he will personally take care of it. For this, the hero will go to any lengths. Kaya asked if he swears by the name of Bellica herself. Kai confidently answered that yes, he swears. Around the same time, the Scheme Masters group, the game's largest online community, was thrown into chaos by 2 events. First, Forward to Search. The Information Guild's search team found the Holy Treasure after searching for 9 months of game time. The Holy Treasure is also called the Eye of the New Humanity. It is the petrified eye of the giant Ortopus, who was known in the past as the Great Prophet. It was announced that the new humanity that the prophet spoke of were players appearing en masse in the world of the scheme. And the second hot topic was Venetic. If this new drug is not introduced into the body within 24 hours of the first dose, severe poisoning will occur, accompanied by convulsions. Poisoning can cause death, and there is no antidote. It is known that only high-level alchemists and mages, those who have learned the skill Karskani Detox, can remove the poison effect. However, most alchemists are already members of guilds or are sponsored by someone. So the price for the services of these specialists is incredibly high, and finding a sufficiently experienced magician is quite difficult. They can be counted on the fingers. Those who use it have no choice but to become slaves to the drug. Lorad spoke of this place. Shira and Farah managed to say that they received an invitation from the troll's henchmen. Their birthdays were coming soon and their favorite bard was coming to town. They were so happy about the invitation. Lorad cried, saying that it was all his fault, he should have stopped them. So the boys went to see this troll minion. Kia thanked Mose for going with her. Wants to tell him something before they come in. Kia is going to chop them into little pieces, even if it means selling his soul to the devil. Kai agrees. These creatures cannot be forgiven. It is because of such creatures that the Ladorns appear later. Well, it's time for the guys to go. However, they were stopped at the entrance by a security guard. He said that today only VIPs were allowed in. The place was reserved for this evening. However, an exception is made for half-elves. Kia can use any of the castle's rooms. Kai asked what else this meant, but it was just an order from the organizers. The hero said he was her escort. The guard apologized, but they didn't care. Because Kai is not a half-elf, the man advised to simply leave quietly and peacefully. Kai was about to object when Kea abruptly walked towards the entrance. She smiled and asked him not to worry. Just see what's going on and come back. One foot here, scolding there. Let Mose not be afraid. Kai still tried to dissuade him, and Kea took his hand. She asked him to give her 2 hours. If he doesn't return within that time, then Mose can do whatever he wants. Okay, Kai will trust her. Truth is revealed only to the sword. So, Kia entered the castle and the huge gates slammed behind her. Kaya is bursting with the desire to turn everything upside down and dismantle the castle brick by brick, but she has to wait. Because he trusts Kay. She walked through the dance floor past a crowd of dancing people. It was unclear where those who had done this to Shara and Farah were. Suddenly that guy, the head of the pickup artists, came up to Kay and asked if she came alone. It was definitely him, the drug dealer Shivalena, when she was with Lorad. Kaya answered with a smile that she was alone. The guy grabbed her by the waist and offered to show her everything here, if she didn't mind. Kia started to whine. Someone was going to lose an arm, but no, it was too early. The girl smiled again, saying that would be great. Near the entrance to the castle, Kai was rushing from side to side. He could not stand still because Kia was already delayed. Finally, she came. The hero asked if everything was okay. Kia replied that her ears were a little numb, but otherwise everything was fine. And the young man behind kindly agreed to tell the guys what he knew. Kia tied up that drug dealer and dragged him in. And he demands to let him go now, saying that the guys don't even know who he is, since they know where he's from. Do they really think they can survive this? And then Kai hit him on the shoulder with his sword. It's better to tell the guy the truth. If he lies, he will have a personal trip to hell. The boy growled in pain. He realized that he would have to cooperate. The guy bent down to the ground and began to apologize for everything, saying that it would not happen again. Kai demanded to straighten up and look here. He showed Venetic and asked if this was the work of pickup artists. The guy mumbled. Kai knows what he's thinking, let him just try. And then he shouted that Venetic was made by a guy named Jason, and he himself knew nothing about manufacturing. Jason is also a player, a level 57 alchemist working for Director Khan, representative director of NG Tech Bruce Khan. Kia said that NG Tech is one of the player companies. Lorda once told me about them. The guy pressed himself to the ground. He told everything he knew. If this became known, he would be buried alive. They begged to be merciful and let him go. Kea and Kai exchanged glances. The girl said that they had found out everything they wanted, so she suggested leaving this bio-waste here. The guy didn't believe for a minute that the guys were leaving, but he remembered them, and at the first opportunity he would kill both of them. But suddenly Kai stopped and said that these guys had a couple of screw-ups. Then, so that he doesn't think about revenge, the hero will still deal with him now. He'll just answer for everything. Nothing special. So, Kai finished off one of the drug dealers. Director Khan asks why he's been hanging around there for so long. As soon as he gave the guy some freedom, he immediately bolted somewhere. The worker told the director not to worry, it would be his soon. Bruce threw the drink in the man's face and asked again when. Or was that too hard a question? Does he really think he'll get away with just making Venetic? He does it, and does it. Well done. But why should the director wait so long for the delivery? Made. Must deliver immediately. Now Bruce should also just sit and do nothing? The man apologized. He would order his guys to make the delivery as soon as possible. Bruce sent him away. All he could do was talk. The poor waiter boys were shaking with fear. The director swung a bottle at them and ordered them to get the hell out. Aren't they pickup artists? Bruce is angry at these worthless freaks. Where is this son of a bitch? A subordinate found a guy shaking in the forest. It looks like he's completely lost his mind because he only repeats 2 words. Thank you and sorry. The man took out some kind of potion and said that this thing was worth a lot of money. He poured the liquid into the guy's mouth and he finally came to his senses. The guy told about the half-elf and the player who kidnapped him. These are probably the ones Director Han was talking about. It seems like they left recently, which means they weren't far. Jason said to contact the people in the village. Let them destroy everything in Azerus, stone upon stone, so that not a single stone remains. They will pay for everything. This is war. When Kai and Kea arrived at the village, they were shocked by what they saw. A huge fire and a lot of injured people. The hero asks what is happening. He will not leave it like this. And then Kea said to look to the side. It says on the wall, "Come to Troll's Tongue if you want to save the gnome." Is it because of the heroes that the pickup artist decided to deal with the village? Kea will not forgive them for this. She prays for Lord Ediath and promises to tear these creatures to pieces. Kea called Mose to follow her. It was time to visit the Troll's Tongue. Courtney is hosting a new live broadcast. It is located in the place where the holy treasure will be brought forward to search. Soon the Eye of New Humanity will show its power to the players. I wonder what will happen. The holy treasure is now on the roof. Now let's see what it can do. However, something went wrong. A bright light filled the entire sky. Some symbols appeared. Now we will decipher them. I have comprehended all the secrets of this world. You, people, will see the greatest of all that you have ever seen. Each player's popularity points will be revealed. A rank will be assigned according to the number of points. Popularity will be added as a new feature. People are looking forward to it. And then there was a ranking of players by popularity. Moses in first place, Kellyan is in fourth. In the troll language, the presence also began to study the popularity rank. It seems to be related to the holy treasure. It seems there is a new ranking system in the game. Director Han asked his subordinate if it would arrive here. Bruce already had those marks on his neck. The package will arrive soon. It's already on its way. But Jason had heard it was a bit wild. It would take a lot of effort to simplify it. Bruce replied with a sly smile that taming was his specialty. He could handle it. It was boring when they were obedient. At this moment, our heroes entered the building. Director Han didn't expect it so fast. Looks cooler in real life than in the photo. Bruce expected less, and here is such a gift. He doesn't want to wait any longer. The director ordered to drag them here. Jason introduced himself. He is the master of the Pickup Artists Guild. It seems our heroes had a lot of fun with his guys. If they go where they shouldn't, Jason will tell them what the consequences are. The boss needs the girl alive. NG Tech and Mose are given the status of potential enemies. Jason was surprised, a familiar name. And then it dawned on him. This is the same popular player. Kai summoned 2 swords and activated Go, killing the crowd of men. Jason doesn't understand what the #1 ranked player is doing here. It's time to leave. The guy has no chance against him. However, the blade was already flying towards him. Jason activated the barrier, but it was immediately blocked. Kai broke the defense with 1 blow. The man can't believe his eyes. It was a legendary artifact. At that moment, he realized that he had messed with the wrong guy and got stabbed in the heart with a sword. Kai has increased his skill level. Now the main question is, where is Bruce Khan? Only he remains. The director hurriedly ran out of the castle. The man doesn't understand what the ranker, the first player on the list, forgot in this hole. How dare he? Bruce is the head of NG Tech. Does Mose really think that nothing will happen to him? The man immediately got into the car and contacted the NG Tech emergency security system via the balloon. Bruce started yelling, demanding a security team be assembled right now. He needed everyone. He's on his way there now, and if they don't have time to prepare, he'll rip their heads off. All the workers were already lined up for the boss's arrival. Bruce woke them up in the middle of the night. One of the employees asked if Bruce was high on drugs again. The manager told him to shut up. He wasn't going to listen to lectures. How long will this go on? If the president finds out. Bruce grabbed the man by the tie and told him to shut up. The man told him about the Information Guild's announcement that pickup artists must be eliminated. Han shouts that this is not the most important thing now and asks Director Pak not to talk this nonsense. The company is on the verge of collapse for various reasons. Can't figure it out on his own? Then Pak's business partners will go to fertilizer, one by one. Bruce waved it off and told the man to deal with the problem and stop pestering him. Director Khan demanded that the doors be opened. Director Pak ordered that anyone who tried to enter be stopped. Bruce found a special earring. It was made for such cases. With this thing, you can even defeat Mose. Varabarden's earring not only improves stats, but also activates body strength magic and provides an additional pocket. Director Pak and his subordinates closed the door with themselves, saying that our heroes would not go any further. Well, then Kai said that let them bring Bruce to them themselves, and in that case, they will stay alive. Then one of the men opened a suitcase containing a whole stack of Ormicons. The director asked Mose what he thought. It was a big sum, but Kia told him to shut up. Bruce will answer for everything. He made her friends drug addicts. Does he really think he can buy himself off with a pittance? And Director Pak asked for evidence. Since the guys made such a serious accusation, evidence was needed. Because of them, the company could collapse. Mose said he didn't care and demanded once again that Bruce be brought here quickly. Director Pak is starting to get angry. He has no idea who our hero is, but advises him to know his place. Why would a director go out and talk to people like them? Although how would NPCs like Kay know this? The world has become a better place. Kai said to shut up. He would make the man eat dirt if he said something like that again. The workers laughed, asking if the hero's parents knew what he was doing. Would he be able to solve it within the law if the problem became more serious? Director Pak also talks about the game, among other things. One of the elder Azerus is on their side. If Mose attacks, he can say goodbye to the scheme. Kai took out his karma and asked if the man was finished. Mose declared war on NG Tech. Director Pak laughed. What kind of war can there be with these two? Who do they think they are? But it looks like the director hasn't seen the guys behind him get finished off yet. Kia cut down a dozen guys with her lightning-fast movements, swears by the god of blades to kill every one of them. Director Pak's subordinates died one after another, unable to even respond in any way. Director Pak was left alone. Kai slowly began to approach. The man tells the boy not to get involved in something he can't handle. He'll regret it. And finally, Kai slashed Director Pak's body with his blade. He thinks he can fix everything because he can re-log in? He is wrong, because nothing will remain of their organization. In his basement, Bruce took Lorad hostage. He didn't want to do it, but it seems he has no choice. There is no other way. All evidence must disappear. Bruce took a lighter and threw it into the wooden shelves. The player who broke into the factory will be blamed for the fire. The investigation will be carried out by one of Azerus's elders. His name is the Swamp Sage. He covers for the director. Bruce asked how Lorada was. An unexpected turn of events. Kia and Kai have already rushed to the warehouse where Bruce was hiding. Just look who's here. The famous Mose himself honored them with a visit, and with him such a cute face. The elves that were brought yesterday are not half as good as Kia. She immediately wanted to pounce, but some light blinded her. Bruce stopped her blade with his hand. It was cool, of course, to have a powerful weapon. Now it was the director's turn. He wanted to swing, but Kai pushed him away. Director Han was furious. He immediately stood up and ran to kill those bastards. However, he didn't even hit Kai once. Meanwhile, our hero summoned both shoulders and pierced Bruce's body. Even the legendary thing did not help. Kia quickly lunged forward and cut off Director Han's ear. And on the tip of the sword, she caught that very earring of his that gave her such confidence. Bruce can't do anything without it. That moment was the end of Bruce Khan. The incident caused chaos in Azerus, and the local Information Guild branch launched an investigation. They investigated everything from the Ash Village attacks, and ending with the distribution of Vanatic, including the arson at the NG Tech factory. This series of events shocked the public. Because of this, the elders of Azerus wanted to meet with the Information Guild, and then Kai and Kea were declared suspects in the Vanatic case. The hero was shocked when he found out about it. In the courtroom, he still did not understand what was happening. They were the ones who caught Bruce, but they are accused of making drugs. Kia asks not to worry, saying that they will not be touched. Many residents believe that the channels through which the drug is distributed should be found first, and some are more concerned about the fire. The judge struck the gavel and asked for silence. The floor was passed to the Elder of the Leaves. Before making a final decision, he would like to hear from those who were in the building during the fire. The Elder of the Swamp will ask the question first. Kai noticed that the Elder of the Swamp was looking at them strangely, and with a sly smile. Let's begin. The Elder asked the heroes what connects them with pickup artists. Maybe they set the building on fire on their orders. Kia was completely confused. And also, if the Elder of the Swamp is not mistaken, these two are swordsmen. Those present in the hall immediately began to actively talk among themselves. Kai confidently answered that yes, they were swordsmen, but that didn't mean anything. But the Elder interrupted. Usually swordsmen are engaged in secret missions, and this time they were supposed to start a fire at the NG Tech factory. Kia screamed that it wasn't true, and the Elder of the Swamps did not expect anything else, because for them this mission should be secret. He thinks that this is how things are. Two swordsmen were given a task by pickup artists to set fire to a factory. Kai says it's unfounded. Wait, Director Pak then said that one of the senior Azerus was on their side. So this means this is the Elder of the Swamp. She said that a resident of the village of Yasin had been attacked and asked those present if they knew who was behind it. Residents say that all witnesses pointed to pickup artists. They heard that all the attackers were from the same guild. Yes, it's all the fault of these pickup artists, and they hired these two to set the fire. People will ask why, and all because the pickup artists were preparing Venetic and needed someone who could distract the public's attention. Now let them listen to Kea. She demands that they not insult the swordsman. They will not tolerate such vile accusations. The Elder of the Swamp replied that swordsmen always hide behind their secrecy, even if it costs them their reputation. Is this normal? So the Elder asks the villagers, isn't it obvious that these two are guilty? The charges have been brought, but they deny guilt, only because the court has no evidence. The Elder of the Swamp demands to bring them before the Tribunal of Barvid and insists on the execution of the medium's magical sentence. Residents agree that these two also have no evidence to prove their innocence. Wait, what's going on? They've already sentenced the heroes, but how is that possible? Suddenly, a guy entered the room. He said that the elders really had no evidence. He only heard fragments. It seems that the elders think that since they have discussed everything among themselves, the matter is decided. The guy was in a hurry because the situation was serious and a special investigator was needed. But it seems like everyone here decided to forget about the order of doing business. Who is this and where did he come from? Kai saw that this guy was level 211. His name was Zyke. He is a platinum head of the Information Guild, and while he was on his way here, he familiarized himself with the case. He can say that a thorough investigation is required. Zyke thinks it's too early to pass judgment, or perhaps someone has a good reason for rushing. The atmosphere in the courtroom changed instantly. Everything was said briefly and to the point. It was very effective. Zyke's level and position in the guild. It is unlikely that this is a simple man. But why is he helping the boys? The Elder of the Swamp was indignant. He shouts that they have everything to convict, that these two destroyed Azerus and there is nothing to discuss. Zyke asked if the Elder could provide evidence. The man asked if what these two had done proved their guilt. What a secret mission. Zyke asked if the boys were on vacation. Yes, Kea said that they had recently finished all their work and were given time to rest. Then the guy asked what they were doing at the factory when the fire happened. Is this how you usually relax on your days off? Kea said a close friend of hers had been hurt by Venetic's recent influx, so she began her own investigation. It's personal. She found out that NG Tech was covering for pickup artists, so the heroes went to chat with Bruce Kahn, who stood at the origins of the nightmare that happened in the city. And later they learned about the fire. Zyke asked for evidence, but everything burned down. The Elder of the Swamp grinned. According to him, the guys had no evidence and it was all fiction. Then Zeke suggested to the Elder to shut up. Honestly, he was annoying. Well, it was a serious matter, so let's not jump to any conclusions. Zyke also thinks that the swordsmen need to be questioned in more detail. At the request of his elders, he turned to a special investigator, but no one conducted an investigation. So let's start all over again. The Platinum leader asked if everything was clear. The Elder of the Swamp nodded in confusion, and the others found Zyke's words logical. His assistant told our heroes that they would immediately go to the Azerus Information Guild. Kea is shocked. They are innocent. But suddenly a man entered the courtroom and immediately replaced his shock with a smile. It was Lorad. He lives in the village of Yasenya. The man said that he was kidnapped by Bruce Kahn, the director of NG Tech, and he has evidence for the special investigator. At that moment, the guys had real hope. The hall froze in anticipation. The Elder of the Swamp shouts, asking what they are talking about. What evidence? And anyway, Lorad was late for the court hearing. We've already reached the logical conclusion. And then Lorad lowered his collar, showing the memory crystal. Zyke said happily that Lorad must be the voice. Yes, the man's contribution to the Lonbas tribe's war had been noticed and appreciated. He installed this crystal to work for intelligence. Lorad pressed the memory crystal and Bruce's voice was heard. He said that something would help dispel all doubts. Investigators will focus on finding the cause of the fire. One of the elders of Azerus is on the side of NG Tech. The Elder of the Swamps will be in charge of the investigation. Bruce said that this business promised to be interesting. Lorad recorded everything when NG Tech kidnapped him. His kidnapping was revenge on their part for the fact that his friends began to look for the person responsible for Venetic's production. If Lorad hadn't gotten out of there, He would have burned alive in the fire Bruce Khan had started. Zeke said that wouldn't work. No way. The Elder of the Swamp decided to deceive the special investigator and destroy the beautiful city of Azerus. The man began to justify himself, but then Zeke jumped onto the podium. 52,000 people became addicted to the drug. 383,000 are under surveillance for suspected addiction. 110 people have already died, but more victims are expected. It turns out that the Elder is involved in this drug trafficking. Zeke will do everything possible to ensure that the Elder of the Swamp is put behind bars as soon as possible. All the military, knights, and guards involved will go there with him. Zeke smiled and approached the heroes. He apologized for his behavior, but did not immediately recognize the heroes of Azerus. Zeke, the platinum head of the Information Guild and a special investigator, closes the investigation into this case on behalf of all the elders. The NG Tech Company and the Pickup Artist Guild are involved in the production and distribution of drugs. As a result of their activities, many ordinary citizens suffered. The truth of the words of the swordswoman Kay was proven. All charges against her were dropped. Evidence was provided by one of the victims of the Pickup Artists and NG Tech. Based on these, Zeke declares Swordsman Kay and Swordsman Mose as the heroes who contributed the most to the investigation of this case. Kai's level was increased by 5. And he received the title of Savior of Azerus. The hero received a title that increases stats in the same way as a unique artifact. Popularity increased. I also completed a secret quest. I completed a number of seemingly simple missions, and the result was simply amazing. Following the incident, an article appeared on the Master of the Scheme forum in the Incidents and Occurrences section, also known as IIP, the dark side of NG Tech and Moz. The article immediately shot up to the top and became hotly discussed, all because it said that it was Moz who exposed NG Tech, and he is the most popular player, and the owner of the Ship of the Heavenly Ruler. Each player felt it necessary to speak out about what happened. The article was so popular that the site crashed due to the huge number of comments, and the moderator had to delete it. A crowd of players gathered to meet Moz. They had always been extremely kind to him, and now they even came especially to say goodbye. He was pleased. The elders said that they should thank him. They felt indebted to him, but did not know how else to repay. The elders apologized for their bad treatment of Moz, despite all his good deeds. A stupid mistake by the elders of Azerus. As an apology, they prepared a small gift for him. This thing has been in the possession of only elders since time immemorial. Even if it was touched by the hands of the Elder of the Swamp, this does not in any way diminish the sanctity of the relic itself. A magical teleportation stone that transports the player to the Opintory. The hero cannot hide his admiration. He asks if he is really worthy of such an amazing thing. The elder said it was a small gift considering how much Moz had helped their people. This gift expresses respect and gratitude from the elders. Kai thanked them. It was an honor for him. All the residents wished Moz a safe journey. They waved and saw him off until the ship flew away. Well, Kia asked where they were going now. A high-ranking swordsman dealt bloodthirstily with his subordinate. Lero and Azerus, the swords of Laoswan, bowed before him. So this immortal became a swordsman. The man told his subordinates to follow him. They still had much to do. Your mother? They even got to Shirin. Kellyan knew these idiots hated him, but he couldn't use him to determine the coordinates of the bodies. They also hid them in the White Tower. He hopes that guy Moz can find them. Kai was thinking about something, when suddenly Kea asked again where they were going next. The hero asked if she remembered his friend Sharon. Yes, she was the archer who fought the immortal. Since she disappeared with that mage, Kai has been unable to contact her. He doesn't think she's dead, but as long as the player is in an area that Kai has visited at least once, he can establish contact with him. And there is only one blind spot left for him on the entire continent. Tikris is a city of entertainment and gambling, but also a city of contrasts. Splendor and splendor worthy of its reputation. And hidden behind the shining facade is the other side. Kai saved the coordinates of the location, Tikris Harbor. The ships here are so luxurious that even the heavenly route pales in comparison. Suddenly the boys heard the man's screams that he had lost everything again. These were all his escapes. People, like drug addicts, threw their last coins into the machines. It turns out that the heroes have reached an alley with arcade machines. This is what Lorad was talking about. Tikris is a beautiful yet cruel city, where hope and despair live side by side. Suddenly, the rabbit greeted our heroes and asked if they were interested in arcade games. His name is Foshi. He is a guide through the local alleys. The rabbit suggested trying to win one Ormacon in exchange for 3 silver coins. That's how much the game token costs. Kai was stunned that you can get Ormacon in the arcades. However, only one of all the machines has it in itself. All these people are trying to get it. But there's no point in playing arcades just for the sake of it. Foshi says there's much greater wealth to be found here. The boys looked at each other. Okay, Kea asked to give her 10 tokens. Foshi ran away, said he would bring them now. The girl wanted to try playing once. But suddenly Kea said that Limpu's children were being exploited here, and they have no alternative. If you are Limpu, you can't count on a normal job. They are just like half-elves who are sent to gladiatorial fights as soon as they learn to walk. Foshi ran over with a bag of tokens and wished him luck. Suddenly, Kai stopped him and handed him a gold coin. Foshi was shocked that they were giving it to him for free and asked why. The hero said that Limpu is very friendly, so he wants to give him a gift for his warmth and kindness. Kai asked not to lose this treasure and to use it wisely. Foshi burst into tears of happiness. With this, he will be able to pay for his younger brother's treatment. The boy thanked the hero with all his heart. May his journey be bright and successful. Well, now the heroes will check if Moses' inventory has run out of luck yet. A little time passed. Kai knew it. He lost everything. Let him just not say that he really hoped to win the Ormacon. And here they have reached her, the Tigris Information Guild. The guys have already contacted them recently. The worker will immediately move them to the designated room. Kai and Kea stood on the portal, when suddenly a man approached them with an outstretched hand. Nice to meet you. He is Viren, head of the Tigris Information Guild. He asked if the guys were looking for someone here. Yes. Kea said that they need an immortal mage and an archer. Viren thought about it and said that an immortal, and also a mage, is quite a rare person. But there is information about one White Tower blueberry that fits the description. Only one player comes to mind, Kellyan, a truly unique player. Initially, immortals were not welcome in the White Tower. However, Kellyan discarded the player status, and he began to behave exactly like an NPC. He fit perfectly into their world and became a full-fledged wizard in his senior year in the White Tower. True, because of this, many mages hate him. Kai asked what bad Kellyan did. Viren is quite capable of finding out where he is now, but first asks for a return favor. The guys were shocked. Had they really heard right? Didn't the guild undertake to distribute information freely? Viren reassured him that while that was true, this information was too special to be disclosed to anyone who wanted it, and he will be extremely grateful if the guys help him a little as payment. Okay. Kai said they would listen to Viren. Not far from here there is Mount Malak. Its summit is crowned by ancient ruins known as the Olive Pass, and Viren wants Mose to exterminate all the ghosts that live there. The hero won't need magic. A sword will suffice. Viren said that all preparations have already been completed. All that remains for Mose to do is to show off all his skills and abilities. Kea doesn't understand why the guild leader suddenly sets a condition for the swordsman and refuses to give out information. They can't waste time on this. But then Kai thought and asked the girl what would be bad if they agreed. He thinks it's more interesting than going to Aspergen and just returning to his swordsman duties. Kea shouted at him and looked at him sternly. Aren't she and Sharon friends? Kai worked on the same team with her. Does he really not care what happens to her because he is immortal? At that moment, Kai realized that he had said nonsense that only a player could have said. And right in front of Kea, for whom this world is real. An ordinary hero. A simple guy named Kai. And here he is, Mose, the #1 ranked player in the world of Scheme. As time goes by, the gap between his two personalities grows wider. Kea thinks our hero is at least a little different from other immortals, because he's almost the only one who empathizes with the NPC, but Mose still remains immortal. This means that one day they can easily adopt their usual attitude towards the gaming world. However, Kea wanted the hero to remain the Mose she once met, even if it sounds too selfish. Kai apologized to Kea. It was stupid of him to say that. He and Sharan really are partners, and they must help each other. The hero took Kea's hand and thanked her. He promises to always remain the same Mose. The boys were walking through the city when they suddenly saw Foshi standing alone in a back alley. Kea came up and asked if the boy was going home yet, but she was simply shocked when she saw his face. Foshi was all wounded. Kea asks to tell what happened to him. Foshi was reluctant to talk. Then Kai asked to tell who did it. The boy apologized to the Wanderers, but the precious coin they gave him was taken away by Shaman. Foshi told him that he had not stolen it, but had earned it. But he said that the boy was not only a thief, but he is also a deceiver and should be sacrificed to the ghosts of the Olive Pass. The heroes immediately went there, to a huge mansion. Judging by the number of guards, Shaman lives here. What do they care about guards? Whether they exist or not is irrelevant. Shaman shouts, demanding that they bring him a person who will be of some use, and he doesn't care how they do it. Just let them make sure he doesn't die in a minute like the last one. Even though Varane got his position as head thanks to the Silver Cat Society, Shaman, the moron, counts the money, so he shouldn't forget it. This month we barely earned 4,000 gold. We need to spread the word that there are already 10 Ormicons in the machines. Let those greedy dogs take all their money there, and a small creature dared to rob him. We'll have to kill half of them in public so they won't do it again. The boys were waiting under the stairs, but Kea couldn't resist and rushed to Shaman. She hit him in the face with great force. Shaman began to call for the guards in a panic. Kia smiled creepily and said that there were no guards. All of Shaman's boys fell asleep or ran off to lick their wounds. Kia started hitting the man with everything she could see, and Kai decided that he would not interfere. The girl apologized to the hero. She needed to let off steam. The main thing is that she felt better. Well, now we can chat. The guys demanded that Shaman tell them what was going on at the Olive Pass. The man asked how he could even open his mouth after that. Kia swung and replied that it was easy and simple. He would help now. Shaman got scared and shouted that there was a gambling place there. People play with ghosts on the pass. There is a society of silver cats. It consists of the city nobility. The necromancer they hired sent a powerful ghost to the Olive Pass, and he began to lure desperate fighters and immortals into battle, promising a huge sum in case of victory. But no one has yet been able to defeat this ghost. You can't even hold out against him for 3 minutes. Kia demands to know how many Shaman sent to certain death for gold. Kai reassures her, because they must hear the man out to the end. He said that tomorrow everything would be different. Shaman was told that the strongest of the immortals would come to fight the ghost. Now the heroes realized how this was connected to the Information Guild. Virane's plan was clear. Kia can't believe that even the guild is in league with them. Well, now Shaman will answer for everything. He begs her not to kill. But then Kai stopped her. There's no point in getting your hands dirty. Shaman has already lost everything. What will people say when they find out that there are no Ormicons in the machines at all? When this news becomes public, he will be judged by the deceived citizens. Kia thought about it, however, there were still places on Shaman where she could hit. Okay, the girl agreed that it was time to go on the mission. And Viren will regret dragging Mose into this. Olentori is a massive library built by the elders of Azerus to restore the city's lost history. This place is secret and can only be reached with the help of special magical stones created from the Avec tree. The heroes have about half a day before heading to the pass. Kai thought he might look there. Kai suggested going together, but Kea refused. Moreover, the stone was given only to Mose. As a resident of Azerus, she wants to follow the laws of the city. But then Kea wants to ask you to find her one book, Minstrel of Kafir. With the help of the stone, Kai entered the library. The scale of Olentori is astonishing. The secret quest, Blacksmith Lavager's Diary, has been discovered. Lavager was a half-elf who was subjected to racial discrimination and persecution. But he had exceptional talent, and the 11 engraved swords he forged are proof of that. Kai is shocked. This man forged his swords. That is, if he finds the diary, he will find a thread leading to the rest of the swords. The hero wanted to leave right away, but he thought about how to find him. Kai started calling the Olentori library search and also asking Siri to find a book. However, only silence followed in response. It's scary to admit, but it looks like Kai really will have to look for it himself. It's been a long time. The hero is angry at this idiotic game. Who gives quests to find a book in the open world anyway? Luckily, the books in this library were organized by section. Essays, fiction, but there are hundreds of thousands of them. Therefore, there are simply an incredible number of shelves. Thus, it will be necessary to examine each book before understanding where the right one is. Well, let's see who wins. Kai has endless stamina. Of course, there is a little less time, but still. And finally, after a long time, Kai found the diary of a humble blacksmith. The quest will open after using the item. Verdum sword, Gorm sword, Gerva sword, Firma sword, Varma sword. Kai received as many as 5 quests, and he thought it was some kind of mistake. The sword of Gerva is hidden in the Olive Pass of Tikris. This is lucky for Kai. Otherwise, he might simply not have found it due to his unwillingness to dig through this sea of books. Thanks to Ki for taking all the arrogance out of the hero. He can only be grateful to her. Looks like Kai is on the right track since everything's going so well. Great, I need to find a few more books for her. Finally, the hero returned back to Kay. But apparently she fell asleep on the couch while she waited. I should have at least lay down on the bed. Kai looked at the sleeping girl and thought. He is sure that he likes Kea. But living in two different worlds, does he have the right to reveal his feelings to her? All this time Kai kept his mouth shut, because demanding an answer from Kay would have been too selfish. But isn't the reason for this unrest that he takes this world extremely seriously? I needed to gather a little more courage and… At that moment, Kea woke up. She asked how long ago Mose had arrived. She had to wake her up. The hero said that he had just returned. Kai handed her that very book. Kia is incredibly happy. She holds it in her hands for the first time. The girl smiled sincerely and thanked him. She's so glad Mose is her friend. Sigh. The sun has set, which means the time has come. Kai said it was time to move on. I needed to become a good gambler. Viren already imagined how weakly the swordsman Mose would perform. Those who bet on him will be out of luck. While everyone is laughing, Kea will be in constant tension. It doesn't matter how good you are in the ordinary world, you can't reach the ghosts. Okay, let's see who wins. Kai should at least try. Various city nobles had already arrived at the Olive Pass. The heroes recognized Viren by the earring in his ear. It seems that only those wearing cat masks are allowed inside. All the guests came to place bets. Okay, to get inside, Kea will get a mask and blend in with the crowd. She attacked one of the men and stole his clothes. The plan was for Kia to bet 100 Ormacons on Kai. She was just shocked and thought Mose was joking. How could they possibly bet that much? And then the hero asked if she really thought he would lose. Of course not. Mose will win. Kai said to believe in him. There is a way to win. If this place is really ruins. The hero approached the entrance and Varane said that he was probably Mose. Pretends not to know our hero. Varane said Mose could come in. The participants come out in order of the queue. There are several more fighters in front of Kai. There was quite a line. Moses was told to go ahead and not to worry. The stands were already filled with spectators. Viren greeted everyone. He sees excitement and desire to enjoy today's spectacle in the guests' eyes. For this night, there will be a duel the likes of which these walls have never seen before. Champion of Olive Pass. He has 31 wins and 0 losses. Evil Spirit Suman. This is one of the most powerful spirits at the disposal of the Silver Cat Society. It was created from the soul of a swordsman who once decided to take a nap in the Olive Pass. Paying for his stupidity, he is forever tied to this place, unable to free himself. And now, Viren introduces the second participant. Immortal. Fearless. He took archery lessons in the Black Spire itself. A great archer. Kai was surprised that the other fighters were also players. They probably came here to win big. Suman hasn't lost any of his fights. The battle will definitely not be easy. And Viren declared the battle begun. The big archer wastes no time and attacks. But the opponent easily reflected his arrows. Here it is, the mastery of the evil spirit Suman. His sword returned. Kai saw that it was one of the engraved blades. The big archer is shocked. Just look at his face. Moments like these are what the spectators are here for. Suman released his sword and cut off the guy's hand. Oh, great archer, he deceived people's expectations. And once again, the evil spirit Suman wins. People laugh and ask what the stupid boy expected. Everyone knew he would lose, but not so quickly. By the way, only 4 Ormacons were placed on the large archer. A couple of nobles must have made a symbolic bet purely out of pity. Kia was furious at these lunatics, but she had to continue to sit and not show it. It seemed that Suman finally had a worthy opponent in the swordsman Mose. The crowd immediately began to whisper. Swordsmen are the ones who carry out secret missions. They don't understand why he's taking part in this. Although the fight pays well. People were sure that no one would bet now. You can't make money on Moses. But suddenly, Kia rose from her seat and placed a whole 100 Ormacons on the swordsman. People looked at her in shock. She did everything as the hero asked. Isn't Kia afraid of going broke? People say it's such a stupid decision and ask who the rich upstart is. Viren is panicking about what she's doing. Their bet is being cut. Well, it seems like someone isn't afraid to take risks. The fight promises to be interesting, and the host began. Suman threw a sword at Kai, but he blocked it with Go Home. Mose uses a similar skill. His furnaces are floating. How unexpected and exciting. The swords are aimed straight at the enemy. However, Suman quickly dodges and hits Kai right in the back. It seems that the spirit is not affected by physical attacks, thanks to the passive skill of Varibarden's earring, which activates the body's strength. The hero was not chopped into cabbage. Only Karma and Sharma are able to stop their fellow, the victim, who attacks from a distance. But these swords are mainly designed for thrusting. Kai can't adequately parry Zerv's slashing blows, so he can only defend himself. Under these conditions, the hero has no way to defeat the ghost with pure force. So first we need to find a way to stop his sword, and Kai has the right skill for that. Lero, who objectively was not a serious fighter, gained the respect of the players not with his strength, but with the help of artifacts. If any items are found in the ruins of ancient dungeons, they can be enclosed in a sphere by lucky destruction. Maybe the skill will work with a spirit bound to a sword. Let's check now. But to do this, you must first be able to touch Zerv with your hand. Viren laughed, asking the swordsman Mose if something was wrong. He felt sorry for whoever bet on this guy. Kai needs to focus on the sword now, not the ghost. The hero failed to block Sumen's sword and was hit straight in the stomach. A sword hung over Kai's face. Everyone thought that this was the end. The surefire way to stop Zerva is to let the sword pierce his body. Now Kai managed to touch the sword and activate Lucky Destruction. Sumen thanked the hero. Now there was another owner of the engraved sword. Mosey proudly raised the sphere and shouted that he had won. Viren, with obvious bewilderment in his voice, announced that Mose had defeated the absolute champion, who had never known defeat. The spectators began to mourn their money and immediately remembered the noblewoman who had previously placed 100 Ormacons. Viren announced that she would receive a whopping 231 Ormacons. Yes, he expected that there would be guests with such large stakes, but the money would still circulate within the Society of Silver Cats. So these Ormacons will return through other events. However, Viren was simply shocked when he saw one of the society members lying on the ground. Then the one who put 100 Ormacons is an imposter. Viren's life collapsed, and Kia proudly brought Moses his well-deserved win. She was so worried. By the way, she asked what kind of magic the hero used. Kai replied that it was a gamble. If the skill hadn't worked, it would have been the end of him. But since they had succeeded, Kia suggested that they go and spin the slot machine. Kai laughed and refused. He doesn't want to get into trouble again. The Tigris Information Guild, having learned of Viren and Shaman's machinations, placed a bounty on their heads the very next day after the events at Olive Pass. However, they managed to cover their tracks, and the Silver Cat Society that stood behind Viren was not mentioned or investigated, as is the likelihood of high-ranking officials being involved in this matter. Nevertheless, the fugitives will not have a quiet life. Knowing the price on their heads and how much money the Silver Cat Society has lost, it's not hard to guess that Viren and Shyman will be hunted by more than just mercenaries. The heroes came to the Information Guild of Tigris. The worker is glad to hear that they solved the money problem. He is Raren, the golden head of the Tigris Information Guild. The rabbit asked what the heroes wanted to know. Kai said that they were looking for two immortals, male mage and female archer. I heard that immortal mages are rare. Raren confirmed that this was true. This mage is a surprisingly well-known person. It is not difficult for him to understand who is being talked about. The guild knows he teleported before disappearing. They've established the point of departure, but they couldn't do the same with the point of arrival. However, it was discovered that a forbidden spell called Telop was being used inside the White Tower, which hides the teleport coordinates. So Kellyon could have been kidnapped during the teleportation. If it wasn't him who used Telop, but someone else, then yes, it was a kidnapping. But this is only a guess, and the guild cannot verify it. Raren can only say that if there was a murder in the White Tower, they would know about it. So all that is known is that he left the tower alive. The heroes should visit the city of Lundavarun, since they are worried about his fate. Sharon is still asleep. He has been asleep for 4 hours already. But the arrogant immortal magician has woken up. Kellyon saw several students from his academy in front of him. He clearly remembers that he planned to teleport with Sharon to Toika's space. But as soon as I moved, I immediately realized that I had ended up in some other place. Then, they cast that same forbidden spell on them. Kellyon tells Hossboy to stop right now. He pretends he doesn't know how the guy used Telop. Hossboy laughed and started hitting Kellyon. He's a cheeky guy. The idiot still doesn't understand the situation he's in. Pride is a sin. The Hossboy suggests carving this lesson into the boy's body. Kellyon received numerous electric shocks. The Six of the Lord asked if this immortal was even alive. Are you an idiot? Kellyon is a mage, an immortal to boot. The houseboy would break his rib at most. Kellyanne can't log out. What will happen to Sheeran if she doesn't deal with these guys now? It seems that houseboy's sixes, Jarenvale and Hargan, are afraid that Kellyanne will die. They always dreamed of catching up with him because they themselves were worthless. The boys studied according to the same program, and if they want to blame someone, let them blame themselves. They didn't put in enough effort. And they don't even hesitate to mock Kellyanne just because he is immortal. They defame the name of the White Tower. Houseboy grinned. Kellyanne had a way with words. He grabbed the poor guy by the hair. The kids had to wag their tails in front of their teachers for a whole year, while Kellyanne simply talked their ear off. If the commission had known that he was immortal, they would never have given him the title of mage. Houseboy hit him and said that Kellyanne's mere existence had already tarnished the name of the White Tower. And now, perhaps, it's time to tell the guys about their plan. They will start with the girl. Kellyanne screams that she has nothing to do with it. Wow, you wouldn't know it from his reaction. There is a homunculus lab in the basement of this tower. Houseboy thinks that the immortal can withstand a dozen experiments. This will allow the boys to better explore the fighting power of the homunculus. This will be a great final thesis. That bastard houseboy has completely lost his mind. As for Kellyanne, this fun will help the boys get the titles of mages. Houseboy ordered Jarenvale and Hargan to bring this, and then they brought in the Doclamus kaleidoscope. It is strictly forbidden to use it without special need. Opening a passage to another dimension through a mediator gives a chance to find a huge amount of knowledge, but the price for it is too high. Kellyanne will be the key to the door to a new dimension. No one knows yet what will happen if the portal with an immortal as a mediator. The guys will take the first step in an unknown direction of magic. They will become pioneers. Kellyanne has activated the secret quest Fighting Spirit. Lundavaran is located on the continent of Aspergen, and for magicians it is a true shrine. The heroes admired the fantastically beautiful fountain. At first glance, it is clear that this is a city of magicians. Even the architecture here is specific. Kai asked what was going on around the fountain. Suddenly, people started disappearing. The guy behind him whispered in the hero's ear that this was a roundabout way. Kai was scared to death. The guy apologized for his sudden appearance. He didn't want to scare the guys. Lately, many people have been unable to find the Lundavarun Information Guild. That's why the guild itself sent him to help the heroes. The guy's name is Zaire. He is an inquisitor. Zaire said to follow him. Kai sees that he is incredibly strong. He thinks he can easily match Lidorn. But how does the hero know that Zaire is really from the Information Guild? Zaire asks for forgiveness. He is always in a hurry. He is still studying. Let's start with the fact that he is a homunculus created by the mages of the White Tower and transferred to the Information Guild. The mark on his face is proof of that. Kai didn't know it was possible to create an artificial human. Of course, Zaire says that it is not easy to artificially create life, but the magicians of the White Tower can do it. The city of Lundavarun was founded by magicians, so within its borders, citizens and guests of the city have the opportunity to freely use spatial magic. These bypasses are part of the city's infrastructure. A huge spatial stone underground allows travel without the use of a teleportation stone, and Zaire knows everything about them. If, say, he becomes a guide to Lundavaran, will the boys' doubts dissipate? Movement along the streets allows access only to public places of the city. Special routes are inaccessible to the uninitiated. Well, since Zaire said so, Kai decided to get started. The guys stood next to him and went to the Information Guild. Now the Inquisitor said to follow him. The golden head of the guild is waiting for our heroes. The guys told him everything. Yes, the boss confirms that there was a case of teleportation inside the tower, but it is believed that it is impossible to get inside. The territory of the White Tower is controlled by mages, so the Information Guild cannot interfere. Zaire added that it was like a shrine for swordsmen. There was no other way to enter the White Tower except by passing the trial of the mages. The chief apologized that he could not give another answer and left. But suddenly Zaire took his place and said that something could be done. Money opens all doors, and this is true for the White Tower. You can hire a magician who can enter there. Then Kai whispered and asked why the leader said there were no ways. Zaire whispered that it was extremely difficult to officially enter the territory of the magicians, and he's here to help the guys get in there unofficially. Zaire contacted Raiden via a communication orb and said he had a request. He would like to introduce one person to a magician and do it as quickly as possible. Okay, Raiden told Zaire to go to the southeast building. They will discuss it in person. Well, Zaire called the boys. They will meet the magician who will become their key. The heroes need to get out of the spatial stone zone. This is important to understand. Yes, of course, Kai thanked Zaire for his help. Suddenly, the townspeople began to shout for the immortals to leave. They had no place here. Zaire said to wait. It wouldn't be long. The protesters told the immortals to get out of their world. Zaire said that those people are the Lidornians. They follow the will of the late Lidorn, and their strength grows day by day. According to the Information Guild, he already has about 3 million followers. More precisely, this is the number of those who openly express their position. To them, we can safely add tens of millions of residents of different cities who avoid players because of the Lighter Knights. Although no, we are talking about hundreds of millions. Mr. Mose is an immortal who killed Lidorn, so he should hide his face. Zaire suggested going to another place before they ran into trouble. Kia asked if Mose was okay. He said yes, just a little nauseous. Zaire contacted Raiden, who panicked and said that a man had arrived at the building and called himself the Master. The Master is from Laozuan, so Raiden is out. Zaire tried to call the guy, but he disappeared. And the Master from Lusuan is looking for 2 swordsmen from Aspergen, Mose and Kaeya. He knows they are here. Zaire's expression changed. He asked the heroes why the Master from Laosuan was looking for them. Did they break the rules of swordsmen? Kai shouts that it is impossible. If they broke the rules, their mentor would come for them. Master Lusuan has no reason to pursue the boys. They will go to Aspargen right now and find out what the problem is on the spot. Kai asked what Zaire would do, whether he would hand them over to the swordsman. But no, in any case, his job is to help the heroes. Besides, Zaire trusts the guys more than that swordsman who attacked the Information Guild headquarters. Zaire suggested going around. But suddenly the sky turned pink. Something strange is happening with the tower. Zaire says that we need to leave now. They will use the bypass routes. Fires covered the city. Master Lusuana stood in the way of the boys. He finally met Mose. Mukchina said into the stone that he had found them, and 2 guys began to climb out. These are the same Agera and Larif, the swordsmen of Laosuan, who answer the call of Master Ganir. Kia shouts that it is the Master from Lusuan, his voice coming from the crystal ball. For a long time, Ganir turned a blind eye to what was happening in the sanctuary of Aspergen. So this is the boy Mose who killed Lidorn and became a folk hero. The prince was young and stupid, but he did the right thing, for he realized that the immortals are parasites in their world. Therefore, Master Ginner from Laosuan and his wards will also do what they must. Kia pointed her sword at them and asked if they had any idea what the consequences would be. Agera asked, "What's wrong? Or doesn't she know that immortals mock and kill people for fun?" His fellow swordsman died like a street dog, accused of breaking the rules, and in his place they took some immortal. Kea seems to be hinting that the boys are betraying such a shameful organization as the swordsmen. Larif added that they had been through a lot. Keeping secrets and carrying out missions were the duties of swordsmen. They were the ones who maintained the world balance. But the swordsmen from Aspergen accepted into their ranks the one who disturbs the world balance. Kia screamed that this was unimaginably disgusting. "Let the swordsmen of Laosuan stop insulting Aspergen," Master Ginir intervened, saying that this was not an insult, but a statement of fact. The one who would be left alive today would be right. Ginir immediately pounced on Mose, but he managed to cover himself with Atoria's sword. Agera used Style 1, opening, on K, but she managed to dodge all the blows. He then tried to strike with Aura, but Zaire stood in front of Kea and blocked the strike. Larif told Ager to step back and released a row of thorns from the ground. Mose and Kea are fortunately okay, but Zaire was injured. Zaire says that the 3 of them will defeat these 2 idiots. But they will never defeat that swordsman Master Ginir here. We need to leave and quickly. Zaire will lead 2 guys to a detour. His magic will only delay the swordsman for half a second, but that will be enough to prevent them from tracking where the boys are heading. Zaire will have a chance to create a passage for them. Only Larif had damaged his eye. Now it would take about 3 minutes to prepare the spell. When everything is ready, Zaire says to try to keep their leader away from the bypass. Once the homunculus freezes him, they will run towards the passage as fast as they can. Kia asks if it will work, half a second after all. Zaire answered that if the swordsmen attack head-on, they are finished. The master came closer and said that Zaire was not bad for a homunculus. The scientists of the White Tower were not idle. A bright pink light appeared again at the top of the tower. Kai shouted, asking if this was also the work of the master. Maybe he didn't know anything about the affairs of the magicians. But he asks, isn't that outbreak because of the immortals? All the strange things in their world started happening after the players appeared. Kai asked why immortals were treated like that. Maybe it was something personal. The master began his story. 17 years ago, he, a young swordsman, was tasked with protecting a village in the Gara Mountains. It was then that he realized the importance of their work. They had worked hard for a long time and had fulfilled their duty with honor. But now the inhabitants of that village are dead, killed to the last man, because the immortals decided to turn that place into a base for their guild, and drove the inhabitants into the mountains, teeming with hungry trolls. The master saw it himself. He saw it and knows. The immortals are greedy worms devouring this world. Swordsmen should destroy people like them, not accept them into their ranks. This is absolutely unacceptable. Kea stood in front of the master instead of Kai. Yes, he is absolutely right. With the advent of the immortals, problems came into their world that they had never known before. It cannot be denied that they upset the world balance. But the immortal, the master, now pointed his sword at Mosey fought evil, protecting the inhabitants of this world more than anyone else. The master is blinded by anger and does not even want to understand the situation. Kea shouts that his judgment is biased. Exactly, he replied that there is nothing more senseless than the struggle for ideology. For only he who survives can be right. Kea and Kai rushed to attack. However, the master from Luswana dodged even the go. He changed his stance in a split second. Suddenly, Zaire shouted for the heroes to move aside. The master of Luswana activated the 7th style, Feather. The city began to be swallowed by a dark hole, and at that moment, Zaire made him freeze. That was the moment. In a split second, Kai and Kea managed to reach the escape point. However, looking back, he saw that Ganir had cut off part of Zaire's head. His next target was Kea. Kai covered her with himself without thinking, allowing the master to pierce his body. Health remained 3%. The hero pushed the girl away and told her to leave. He will definitely find her when he returns, so Kea must survive no matter what. After she ran away, Kai grabbed the sword in his chest and told the man that he was still his opponent. However, the master simply cut off the hero's entire body before he could do anything. Zaire and Mose were finished, so the man told her boys to leave. Kai was dead. He won't be able to enter the scheme for the next 7 days. 7 real-time days equals 21 in-game days. Kai took off his VR glasses in horror and screamed. His death in the game was reflected in his physical condition in reality. The hero couldn't stop vomiting. Had Kea managed to escape? If only she could get to the heavenly ruler without incident. She'll be safe on board. Then she'll return to the sanctuary, and all will be well. Master Robin is there. But 3 weeks will pass in the game. Who knows what might happen during that time? What if Kai never sees Kea again? Even 3 hours after leaving the scheme, Kai could not stop thinking about Kay and Master Ginir.